Good evening, wherever you're watching or listening to me from. My name is Ayoti, and this is the Naija FC Podcast on Eagles Tracker, the home of Nigerian football. This is a podcast where we bring you our raw, honest, unfiltered opinions on all the hottest and latest topics in the world of Nigerian football. Always entertaining, sometimes controversial, but a podcast that you always want to be tuned in to. And as always, I have with me my reliable co-host all the way from the United Kingdom, Smilai. Smilai, welcome.
Yeah, nice to be here again. Nice to be back again. We're in WAFCON mode after the World Cup. So nice to do this with you again, Ayoti.
Yes, thank you very much. And again, just to mention, because I know some people have been talking about it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here last week to give you guys the show. My mother was in town. I say this like maybe once or twice every year. I don't live in Nigeria. My family largely lives in Nigeria. So I don't get to see my family often, and I'm not married yet, so I don't have my own family that I've started. So whenever a member of my family is in town, when they take their time, spend their money to come and see me, I like to dedicate, even if I have to give them a week, I like to try to just dedicate that time to actually spend with them. So my mother, my birth mother, was around, and she said she wanted to travel, she wanted to see a little bit of Canada. So I had to, spend that time. That's why I couldn't come on live last week. We were driving on the road for about 6 hours. But it was a very, very fun trip. I enjoyed it. She has returned back to her home. So you guys have my attention again. And also just to foreshadow, next week's show should happen, but I'll let you guys know if there's any update on that. But yeah, next week's show should happen. But I apologize for being away. Thank you for still sticking with us. Thank you for missing me. It means that you guys like the content. You guys are looking forward to the content. I hope you've been watching the other WAFCON content that has been going out, the videos, not live streams, that have been going out on the channel as well. Yeah, thank you very, very much. Okay, Smilai, on today's show, we have a number of things to discuss. We'll try to go through it as quickly as we can. Preseason is in action. Some leagues are back in action. Some transfers have been happening. And of course, there's the WAFCON 2026 as well. Unless we forget, the young, Flying Eagles are also doing their thing, or maybe not doing their thing. It depends on how you look at it. But yes, we'll get into all of that. We'll get into all of that on today's show. Okay, let us start with just talking about preseason action. I'm not going to talk about every single person that is playing preseason because I can't possibly do it. We've seen the likes of Ademola Lookman in action. They played against, I think, United in one of their preseason games as well, getting set for the season. Victor Osimhen was also in action for Galatasaray. He played against Rennes, scored a goal, a header, Osimhen doing what Osimhen usually does. Osimhen has also been the subject of some transfer rumors. We'll get into that a little bit. Even though I keep saying I don't like to talk about Victor Osimhen transfer rumors because it's endless every summer. But maybe we'll touch it small. Today's show. But yes, preseason is going on. Our players are getting set for the season. Let's wish them all the best, as the season comes around. But let's talk about those that their seasons have actually started. Those that are actually playing competitive matches. So let's start with the prodigal son. Stanley Nwabali returned to action for Chippa United, made 6 saves, kept a clean sheet, rated very, very highly for his performance in that game. What do you think about that? Is Stanley back to Stanley?
Yeah, happy that he's back. And he's doing his bit. He's also coming back when Manuka Koye, is out injured. So I don't know what to say. But I'm happy for him that he's back. He's doing his thing as if he did not never actually what left. I wish him the very best of luck too, as I will always say. It was one of the match back to back, was it? Like there was this is the MTN something they played that he did well. He did well last weekend too. So happy for him that he's actually what back. Hope that so may it continue.
And do you think
it's just a funny transfer, yeah?
Back. Yeah, but do you think this could be, assuming Maduka is fit playing in the Serie A for Udinese, and Stanley Nwabali is fit playing for Chippa United in the PSL. Do you think Stanley's return to form means that he automatically comes back and takes his number 1 shirt, or is Maduka now the number 1 and Stanley has to come and take that shirt from Maduka? How do you see it?
I think based on the manager, based on some information she would have, I think Maduka is the first choice. I think the coach is trying to move on to Maduka finally settled as his first choice, and between Maduka and Otto Congo. So I know that Stanley is there. It's a different option. Don't forget that Stanley nearly gave us heart attack during the World Cup qualifier. He did well during AFCON, but I think the manager too is looking at age, and trying to build a new team. It's reducing the age of that team and things that Maduka probably fits the what he's trying to do now with the team. So I think even when Maduka returns, I think Maduka will probably. I know that he might not be available for the first game against Madagascar in September, and I think when he returns back, it's gonna be ready.
But that transfer, rather that international window is supposed to be the extended. I think is now the extended window that FIFA is doing, where you play 4 matches in one window.
Yeah. So but because of the travel logistics in Africa. It's very difficult for you to make 4 travels, in Africa, flight delay, flight cancelled, and so on. So CAF said that we're going to play 2 games. So if your country have the capacity, to organize 2 other friendly games, they can do that. But based on the qualifiers, we will play only 2 games, and there's going to be 2 games too in November. So then we conclude with the other 2 games in March. So because of if it's Europe, we'll be able to play 4 games, but the travel to East Africa, how to move around is very, very difficult. That's the reason why they have to make do.
All right. And I will say, shout out to Stanley Nwabali. I'm happy to see him back. I'm happy to see him playing football again. It was such a crazy thing terminating his contract midway through the season. It was even crazier when he went and resigned for the same team that essentially he left. But ultimately, what matters is that at 30 years old, he's playing football, he's doing his thing, and he's bringing that competition to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Because look, at the end of the day, whether Stanley is the first choice, Maduka is the first choice, Afro is the first choice, to be honest, I don't have a vested interest in who is in goal. As long as the person that is in goal is performing and there is competition in the entire team, what matters is the best for Nigeria, not the best for who IoT likes or who anybody else likes. So I'm happy that Stanley is back. He can provide that competition to Maduka. Maduka can provide that competition for him. And then, the other goalkeepers too, hopefully can also provide competition to the both of them. So looking forward to seeing him in action. Let him keep doing his thing with Chippa United. And let's see how this 26-27 season unfolds for the big man. All right, let us move forward quickly. I want to just highlight another player who we've spoken about maybe in recent weeks a little bit because of some of his off the field issues, but recently he has taken to the field and he's doing very well. I'm talking about Daniel Daga. Daniel Daga, since returning to Molde FK squad, after his Lego battles, he has played 3 matches and he has now scored 2 goals in his last 2 games, playing in that midfield role. He has returned to football as if he never left football. He looks happy. When he scored the first one, you could see he was in tears. He rose his shirt. He had the inscription underneath saying, "Unless they kill God," which is something that he has been doing. After going through the kinds of battles that he has been going off the field, his name has been dragged through the mud. He did not know what the future held for him, whether he was going to play for that club again or whether he was even going to be able to still have a professional career. Now back in the team, his club has supported him. His teammates clearly support him. And then for him to score in back-to-back games, and before this season, he wasn't even really a goal-scoring midfielder like that. I'm so happy for Daniel Daga. I hope that things continue to progress in the right direction for him. We know how highly rated he was as a youngster. After playing for the Flying Eagles, playing in Eyimba, everybody looked at him as the future of the Super Eagles midfield. And maybe, just maybe, he can finally start to show himself and start to maybe try to live up to that potential. But yes, Smith, 2 goals in the past 2 games for Daniel Daga, back in Molde squad, playing like he never left. What do you have to say about that?
I'm happy that he's back, and for you to see a player coming back, after what he actually went through, it's good. It's good, but he should not pin it on anybody. Nobody is doing him. Anything that happens in life, you learn from it. You should learn from it, and you should move on. I know that it could be emotional, it could be everything, but anything that happens, there's so many lessons learned there. You learn from it and actually move on. I'm happy for him, he's doing well. Now, I think it's started last game for Molde, when they scored in that 3-3 draw. So now he's playing regularly. So he should take that fire to want to succeed and do well. For me, I expect that he should be moving from Molde, even this season. But he didn't do well the previous season. Players like Toshukunadi, they already moved on from the Scandinavians and the Belgium, now playing top 5 European leagues. So, but for me, it's never actually too late for a player. I think he's doing very well, and so may it actually continue. At least
he's only 19 years old, so he's still
very good. He went on Instagram to say something different, though. So he himself, I'm not even. But let's just keep that one.
What did he say on Instagram live?
He said that he's 0-4 more than that on Instagram live.
I don't know about that.
No. He says it's on his family with his friends. So players should be cautioned on those type of things too. But focus on the football now. I think that is now. I don't know. I'll probably ask the scouts. Maybe his name is with probably it's being scouted for the 23. That go get camp. So I will check. I will ask. But for me, I think it's good that he's back. And let's see exactly what he can do this season.
Let's see what happens. But it's been a good start for him, and hopefully he can keep it up like that. In the whole of last season, he played 12 matches, obviously before his issues. He scored 2 goals, and in this season, 3 games, he's already got 2 goals. So hopefully he can keep it up, and maybe next season or something, we can be talking about a potential move for him. But honestly, success is relative. At this point, for him to even just be playing football is something that he has to be grateful.
Yeah.
Grateful for, especially with everything that has happened. But yes, I wish him all the very best for the 26th season, 27th season, and yeah, we'll keep tabs on him as long as he keeps doing well. You guys will keep hearing about him. If he doesn't, then maybe we might go quiet a little bit. So yes, it's up to him to keep himself in the conversation on the Naija FC podcast. Let's also get into some transfers because Nigerian players have been on the move, and I know, yes, I wasn't here last week, so maybe there's a few of them that I could have covered last week that I didn't. So yes, let us get into all of it. I want to start with the female players. Janet Akekoromowe and Flourish Sebastian have both joined SL Benfica Feminino in the Portuguese league. 2 young stars, Flourish Sebastian is joining from Fenerbahce in Turkey after having, was it Fenerbahce or Galatasaray? No, Fenerbahce, yes, after having a decent time there. And Janet is joining from Nigeria. Both young players, both high prospect players, both going to SL Benfica. For me, one thing that stuck out with me is why we always beg Nigerians that when you get somewhere, when you get an opportunity, make sure that you take that opportunity and you do really well. Because not only will it benefit you, but it would also benefit those that are coming after you. And I think this is a perfect example of people benefiting from the success that Christy Uchebe had at Benfica. Uchebe went to Benfica in 6 years. She became a key player for them. She won 6 titles with them. She played in midfield. She played in defense. She made important tackles. She won trophies. She won Player of the Match awards. She did excellent for them. And now that Uchebe is leaving Benfica, Benfica has the confidence to trust other Nigerian players to come in and hopefully develop them. And maybe the same way Christy came as a youngster and became a key star player for them, maybe Flourish can do that. Maybe Janet can do that. And I wanted to give Christy Uchebe her flowers because honestly, if she had not done as good as she did, who knows if Benfica will be taking this chance on these 2 young girls. And also for the 2 girls, I'm really happy for them. It's a step up in their careers. It's a move to a bigger league. Benfica is going to be playing in the Women's Champions League, UEFA Women's Champions League. They are going to see teams that you haven't seen before. Maybe they will face a Lyon. Maybe they will face a Chelsea. They might face an Arsenal. They might face a Barca. They might face a PSG. They are going to play big matches. They have to be able to live up to the occasion. They have to be able to fight, stay focused, and hopefully this can be the start of success in their careers. These are 2 players that, you'd see them as potential replacements for some of the older players that we have in the Super Falcons squad right now as well. So I'm really hoping that things go well for them. But Milai, what are your thoughts on Janet Akekoromowe and Flourish Sebastian joining SL Benfica in Portugal?
Yes, I'm happy with especially Sebastian Flourish. That we had, it was so good in local league, played well for Nigeria in the age grade system. Was a standout player for Nigeria in 2020s, but things didn't really work out well for her. I think she was she went to Reims. Was it Reims? Started Reims in France initially.
Yes.
She didn't get enough game time there. So it has been like this topsy-turvy, for him in Europe. But now that he's in Benfica, I hope that he's fully settled now. I hope that he can actually perform well in Benfica. Like you actually was there, Christy did well there. That's why. Or no, he did well there. That's what gave Durosinmi and Arokodare opportunity. So close to Christy for Ashworth for doing well there. Flourish is one of the players I really like. I want her to be the national team because I think that is a player of the system that can actually really still do well for us in the future. So I'm happy for them. Also, Janet too, coming back from that nearly career-ending injury, that he actually had in the World Cup qualifiers for the Falcons, coming back and getting fit. And shout out to Victor Osimhen because I heard that the operation was financed by by Victor Osimhen. So shout out to him too. I'm happy that the two guys actually were there. So let's and we're watching them now. I was trying to unfollow Benfica before when Christy, but now I have to still follow them now because of Slimmer Flourish and also and Janet.
All right. Shout out to both of them. We'll keep watching them. Benfica, don't worry, we're still following you guys. We're still following you. Just treat our girls right, the way you treated Christy right, and everything will be good. Speaking about players that are taking over from other Nigerian players, you mentioned his name already, so let's get into that. Rafiu Durosinmi has joined KRC Genk in the Belgian Jupiler Pro League from Pisa SC. He has signed a 4-year deal. He's taken his talent to Belgium. He, of course, we know how good he was playing for Victoria Pilsen in Czech Republic, scored a bunch of goals, took his talents to Italy, and in 12 Serie A games was only able to score once and get one assist. Didn't really cut it at Pisa, He started with a bang. I remember his first 2 games, he did really well. And then things just kind of went downhill from there. He became a player on the bench. His team eventually got relegated. And now he has quickly moved on. How well do you think he can do at KRC Genk?
No, the marker is there, Hayoti. He's going there to replace Tolu Arokodare. So and they expect the type of numbers, that Arokodare delivered for them. Unusual numbers, they were expected from Durosinmi. That is the reason. It's not his football. It wasn't good for Peter, last season. It wasn't good. Just look at which African striker, budget-wise, profile-wise, can fit into their team. They went for Rafiu Durosinmi. So, pleased for him. I hope that he can actually you say people doing well. I hope that he would not go there and block the road for other players coming in. So he can go and relaunch his career very well. Scored loads of goals, and also and maybe probably be a top scorer too, like Paul Onuachu. So I think that he can do well. He's going to be having maybe probably Christian Akpan on the right hand side trying to get crosses in the box for him. But I think that he needs to settle quickly and do well.
No, for sure. He has played 2 preseason games so far. One was against Bayer Leverkusen, Boniface's team. Nathan Teller also, of course, of Leverkusen. Nathan Teller scored in that match. And then the second game was against FC20. His preseason so far, the 2 games, he hasn't really been great. He's yet to score. But Durosinmi is a player that I like. I really liked him playing in the Czech Republic. He has energy. He has good movement around the box. He has good strength. It's not the quickest, but it's also not a slouch. And I think that in the Belgian league, he should be able to deliver. Also playing for one of the better sides in the country like KRC Genk. I'm also expecting him to be able to get us, maybe in his debut season, 15 to 20 goals. He has to hit the ground running and then can establish himself. He has a long-term contract. And, the Belgian teams, they'll be looking at him as somebody that they can potentially cash on in the future. He's not a young player anymore, but he's only 23 years old. So he's still somebody that, if he has a good 3 years, you can move him on in the future, make some decent amount of money from him. And hopefully he delivers for them. But we'll be supporting him, we'll be watching him, and of course you'll be seeing his updates on Eagles Tracker throughout the season.
Okay. And just talking about him, he just came back he just got married, so he just finished his honeymoon. Maybe probably he had to cut his honeymoon short to come back for the season. Maybe that's affecting his performance.
So he has expended all his energy on the honeymoon.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just trying to say that it might be part of what happened to him. We will be back very soon. He will be back.
All right.
Yeah.
And speaking of Durosinmi, let's talk about the player that we believe he's quote unquote replacing. Of course, that is Tolu Arokodare. Tolu Arokodare, man, very, very interesting. We heard the reports about him sitting down on the field. He denied it, one thing or the other. Eventually, he has gotten his move and he has joined AFC Ajax in the Dutch Eredivisie on a season-long loan from Wolverhampton Wanderers in England. Of course, there is an option to make the transfer permanent next summer. And yeah, Tolu has escaped Wolves. We know how terrible Wolves were in the Premier League last season. We know how, to be fair to Wolves, Tolu was also not very good in the Premier League last season. We, of course, questioned, his ability to maybe perform at that level. There were reports of him potentially going to Fiorentina. There were reports of him potentially going to Turkey. But eventually, his agent and himself have worked the deal out, and he is going to the Netherlands. Now, the Dutch league is one of those leagues that, of course, we know the teams, but a lot of people don't really watch the Dutch Eredivisie. In recent times, we've had some Super Eagles players like Maduka Okoye that have come out of that league. We've had players like Chidera Ejuke that have come out of that league. Smilai, do you think Tolu Arokodare can be the next Nigerian player to go and light up the Dutch Eredivisie?
Yeah, it can. Sometimes if you can't move forward, you step backward. Maybe probably some kind of sure propel you forward. So this is my language that if you see a ram walk backward, sometimes it's coming back with energy. It's okay. So Dutch league is a step down. For Arokodare, he's not outside. He's outside the European top 5 leagues. But I just hope that he can actually do well and relaunch himself. If he's got 25 goals in the Dutch league, clubs will want to gamble again, and see probably if he can cut it in the big European league. So I think he can do well. He's called on his debut, for Ajax and
in pre-season.
Yeah, pre-season. He's non-official debut. Yeah, let me just put it that way. So it's a striker that you don't find them like that in the Dutch league. So you can muzzle them there. Everything is built on technique in the Dutch league. Right. He probably can muzzle them there, and score some goals. For me, I think he will not struggle. He's not playing for Wolves that they don't create opportunities. He's playing for a team that they're meant to be on the front foot, all the time. So he can actually work. He can help them. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, they're definitely meant to be on the front foot. They underperformed last season, but hopefully this season they'll be able to do much better. We know Ajax is a storied club. A lot of strong players have played there. One of our greatest ever Nigerian players also played for Ajax. So they'll be expectant. It's like what we're talking about. When a Nigerian player has performed there before, in fact, Ajax, more than one Nigerian player has performed at that club before. So they'll be looking at their new Nigerian player to hopefully able to live up to a little bit of the legacy that has been laid down for him. He probably would make his official debut in 3 days' time because Ajax are playing in the UEFA Conference League qualifiers. They are going up against Shelbourne. Shelbourne is a team that plays in Ireland. It's not a very high quality team. So, of course, never write anybody off, but I think it should be a fairly easy one for Ajax. And Tolu Arokodare, maybe coming off the bench, I don't know if he will start, but I would hope that he can get a good performance. And then their league season will start on the 9th of August as well. So, it's straight to action for Tolu. I'm really, really hoping that he can do well. Of course, if you guys have been following, you guys know that I have a very interesting relationship or lack of relationship with Tolu. From supporting him throughout his days in Latvia, I had some words when he was being linked to Bayern Munich. He took offense. He moved to Wolves eventually, did not cut it at Wolves. He's now gone to Ajax. And I'm supporting. Look, I wish every Nigerian player all the best. Tolu is no different. I really hope that he can do well. And of course, we will be bringing you guys the updates about him throughout the course of the season on our social media platforms. So please make sure that you're following us on all social media so that you never miss an update. Tolu Arokodare to AFC Ajax. That one has been officially announced some time ago. Okay, let's keep it on Super Eagles players that are making transfers. Chidozie Awaziem played in the USA, moved to FC Nantes last season, and is now taking his talents back to Turkey because he's been there before. Chidozie Awaziem has joined Konyaspor in the Turkish Super League on a 2-year deal, leaving relegated FC Nantes. Smilai Awaziem last season played for Nantes in the Ligue 1. Had quite, in all fairness to him, he had quite a good time with Nantes. He was one of their key defenders, started almost every match for them. They were a pretty bad team, but he still managed to do well enough for them. They got relegated, and now he has decided that he needs to move on. He needs to take his talent elsewhere, and he's going to Turkey, Konyaspor. How do you see that transfer?
Yeah, he's winding down. That's it. He's winding down. Yes, I'm sorry for the choice of word, but he's winding down
At 29 years old.
Yes, but his brother also went to Division 2 in Turkey. He's even tried that he's playing in the Super League. He's winding down, and for him, he's not been called up for the last two windows for Super Eagles. So you expect that he was not part of the plans of Eric Shell. So he's going. I think I heard a report that he had to take a pay cut for relegation clause or so. I don't know. Maybe probably that was also affected, him, in terms of actually what. So for me, it's a move that sporting wise you might not like, but I think financially it might probably benefit him more than playing in France. So it's good for him. I wish him the very best of luck there. He's just this player with so much potential, but never delivered. He was linked to Liverpool sometimes, if you remember. He was heavily linked to Liverpool. So, it's just this guy that Mike said that Awazem will be a big player for Super Eagles. Mike projected that one 2017, 2018, but that did not come to pass.
And as a player that has played in the Turkish Super League before, of course, he played for Kayseri Rizespor, if I'm not mistaken, in the past, in the 18-19 season. He did really well in the Turkish Super League. Do you think that another quality performance in the Super League can keep him in the Super Eagles conversations? Of course, he went to the AFCON, but he wasn't caught up in recent times, like you said. Can he still be part of the Super Eagles setup? What do you think?
If we have injury worries there, but I don't think we should be moving on from players like that. Honestly, we should be moving on from players like that. I don't think there was a time that Awazem really helped the team. Even when he was called up for the World Cup qualifier, William Federico played ahead of him. You remember against Rwanda, he was meant to be the starter in that game. Felix played against South Africa in Bloemfontein. Frederick played ahead of him. So for me, I think that he should be honorable to say, I think my time with this national team is over. And I have to just leave. The ovation is not loud now, but just to leave honorably.
40 times capped for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I mean, it's not a bad. It's not
about how many years, IoT?
For him. I mean, since 2017. Yeah, but it's not a bad record. I mean, a lot of people don't get it. And he has, again, 40 caps, but he's been in the squad a lot. A lot of the times he just doesn't play. But he's been in the squad a lot.
Scored a lot. But which game can you remember from I was there and say, wow? Which wow moment can you remember from Awazem?
It's not everybody goes to wow you. I mean, like, we cannot. So that's the thing here. We cannot always be looking for wow from everybody, because some players just go and they give you a consistent 7 out of 10 in every game. Never gets to a 9 or 10 out of 10, but that 7 out of 10, you know exactly what you are getting from them. So I don't have to have been wowed by him. He is not a superstar defender. We all know that, but he has, done his job to a very decent extent the times that he has been playing. He's never been a key defender for Nigeria, but he has been somebody that we could always call upon. And when we call upon him, you're not necessarily thinking that Awazem is coming to spoil game or he's coming to do something wrong. He just comes, he does his job, incognito, and then he leaves the field. So for me, I still think that he has had a respectable career for the national team. I want to give him that credit and say, you've done okay. You've done okay. That's how I feel about it.
When you say wow moment, would you allow me to land?
Okay, we are land.
Wow moment could be positive or negative.
Okay.
My wow moment of Awazem is when he crossed that crawfish pass against
it was a friendly night.
It's a wow moment for me.
It's a friendly now. Everybody has had 1 or 2 moments when they
I'm just joking. I know at least he did well for himself, but it's just that guy that just say, oh, he's just there. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. He's an average player, but again, like I said, sometimes boring is good. Sometimes a player that does not hog the headlines, because look, all the star players, they have times that they have terrible matches. You look at it, almost all of them. Is it Osimhen, is it whoever you think is the star player, it will be any of them. They've all had bad matches. They've had quality matches, but they've had bad matches. But him, you cannot necessarily say, oh, is a bad player. He's just been okay. He's just there. It's like, okay, he comes, he does his job, he does okay, he leaves the field. So for me, I'm happy for him. I think he's done well. And some people in the comments are saying that he has had good games against South Africa, quarterfinal of the AFCON in 2019. AFCON 2019. Yeah, I mean, he's a good servant of the team. So let's just, give him his credit. And of course, I'll be watching him at Konyaspor. I can't say I wouldn't watch him because our best player is in the same league, so I'm going to be watching.
I know you're good there.
I'm going to be watching that league, so for me, I can't league shame him. I'll be watching him at Konyaspor. There are a bunch of Nigerian players in Turkey. I wouldn't be watching those in the second division, but at least in the Super League. Let's see how things go for him. Wishing him all the very best in the coming season. That is that on Chidozie Awaziem. Okay, let's move forward. We have a few more transfers to talk about, and one of them is another Super Eagles player. People might not necessarily want him to be called a Super Eagles player, but he has been called up and he has been capped one time. I'm talking about Josh Maja. Josh Maja has joined Le Havre in the French Ligue 1 on a one-year deal with the option for a further year. Of course, Josh Maja, we know that he has had a little bit of a journeyman career in recent years, moving from place to place, moving from pillar to post. Last season, he was playing in the English Championship with West Brom, and now he has taken his talents to the French Ligue 1. Le Havre. Smilai, what do you think about that? Do you think Josh Maja can fight his way back into Super Eagles contention? What are you expecting from him in France? Of course, he has played in France before, we should say, with Bordeaux. And of course, he had a good time there, scoring 17 goals in the Ligue 2 for Bordeaux and about 8 goals in Ligue 1 when he played with them. So what do you think he can do? You are muted. We can't hear.
I think he's a player I like his style of play. I think he's a player that likes to play with the ball. And I heard that he was meant to be called up for one of the games, but I think it was he? He was in championship then. He asked to be excused. So for me, he's now 29 years of age. Is it 29?
No, it's 27.
27. So
27. He's confirmed 27.
Why is it confirmed again? He's the only one that is unconfirmed. So for me, I think a good performance in Eric Cher's homeland of France, because you keeping tab with him and be watching him. I think that he can actually get a chance to play for the team again. I know that the coach, I think, likes him, but it's just that it's not settled yet. Injury upon injury, so it's not really actually settled yet. That's the reason why it's not been actually called up. So if he performs very well for Le Havre, is it Le Havre in the French league? I think he might probably actually do well. Still be called for Nigeria.
And Le Havre finished 14th in the Ligue 1 last season. Of course, it's an 18-team league, so they're not one of the stronger sides. I'm just hoping that it does not become a case of just playing for a bad team and not really being able to get opportunities to do anything. I'm hoping that at least some of their players will be able to provide opportunities for him to score goals. Their highest goal scorer last season in the league had 8 goals. Then the next highest goal scorer had only 4 goals. So they are not a very goal strong side, and maybe that is why they've brought him into the squad to be able to convert more of it. But I'm happy for him, happy to see him playing in the top division again. Of course, he has played in Ligue 1 before. He has played in the Premier League before as well, lest we forget. And after going down a little bit, playing for West Brom, trying to work his way back up in the English system, he's now moving back to a country that he has played in before and he has done quite well. So I'm really, really hoping that things go well for him on that one, and I'm hoping that he can score goals. And considering the fact that, look, with all due respect to everybody that deserves respect, considering the fact that we've had people from like Plymouth Argyle, if I'm not mistaken, get called up to the Super Eagles in recent times, random, with all due respect, some random players have been called up in recent times. So for me, look, if a player is in the French League on playing for Le Havre, scores a few goals between now and September, if you call him up as the 4th or 5th choice, can I be too mad at it? No. Again, it all depends on how other players are doing But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. For me, the most important thing is that everybody is playing well, everybody's playing at a high enough level, and there's competition and quality in the team. But yes, Josh Maja, I was quite pleased to see this transfer news. I wish he had been a maybe more stable League On team, but nevertheless, let's see how that one goes. Wishing him all the very best. And of course, if you stay tuned to our social media channels, you will be seeing the updates on his games, performances, all right, all right, all right. Moving forward, another Super Eagles player, another transfer. A young star, a player that has a lot of potential, a player that we've been really, really paying attention to over the past few years, has now joined another team in the Italian Serie A. I'm talking about Ebenezer Akinsanmiro. He has joined AC Monza on a loan to buy deal from Inter Milan, potentially finding a permanent home away from Inter. Smith, I know that we've been very big on Akinsanmiro in the past. We've sometimes been very hopeful that maybe Inter Milan would keep him in the squad, but it seems like they are ready to move on from him, and it seems like Monza has been his destination of choice. What do you think about this transfer for Akinsanmiro?
Good for him. He had a very good position with Inter Milan. I thought he would continue. So some hierarchy wanted him to continue. I think the coach wanted him to continue, but I think the hierarchy believes that it's time to just move in more. Maybe probably a good season for Monza. They can still look for a way to bring him back because the relationship is very big. Because I went on the social media after the game they played last for Inter Milan. They were even saying that Akinsanmiro puts arrow greater than Farsesi. So they were mentioning, they say he's our best player, he's our this, he must not go and things. So the Inter Milan guys, not like him to move on, but it's good for his career because he will get more playing time playing for Monza, in the same league too. But for me, it's a good move for him. Let him go and actually learn there, and he's been spending some time now in Italy. Maybe passport might be on the horizon, something like that. So you never know. You never know. His career is in Italy. So for me, I think that for him to be in the place for a while, I think probably that will be counting for him too, which I hope that he can get. For me, it's a good move for him. Just to go and play. I didn't want him to leave Inter Milan. I wanted like if it's like Coppa Italia game, but because the player is already 22 or 21 years of age now, he needs to be able to play on a regular basis. So for me, I think it's good for him.
Any concerns about the fact that he's joining the newly promoted side? Of course, Monza were in the Serie A for 3 consecutive seasons. Then they got relegated, and now they've been promoted back to the Serie A. Any concerns about that? Because, of course, they are likely to be in another relegation battle this year.
Yeah, we learn how to defend. We learn how to soak pressure and everything. So we learn that still now to do well. So for me, you never know now. The Italian league is full of surprises. They can put another Como again. Nobody, who knows? Valencia can be under Como. So who knows? So let's just let him go and develop. Well.
Let him go and develop. And of course, Ebenezer is an exciting midfielder. Technically good, can play with pressure behind him, can play facing his own goal, can drive the ball forward, and physically strong as well, can nudge people off away from him. And has a high ceiling. Of course, we've been tracking him, we've been following his progress over the past few years, playing for Sampdoria, playing for Inter, playing for Pisa. So I'm really hoping that this transfer goes well for him. The transfer is only going to be made permanent under certain conditions, which I haven't been able to see the exact conditions for the transfer to be permanent online. But I'm going to assume that one of the things that will probably be a trigger is Monza staying in Serie A rather. I have a feeling that if they get relegated, then the transfer wouldn't be permanent and he'll return to Inter. But if they stay up, then that would likely make him move, as long as he also maybe plays a certain number of matches during the course of the season. But I would expect him to feature heavily. I would expect him to be a key part of the squad. Knock on wood, he stays fit throughout the season so that he can really impress. And who knows, maybe he'll be involved in the Super Eagles squads a little bit as well. But I think this is a big season for a player like Akinsanmiro. I think that he has a chance to really show himself. He has a chance to really establish himself. He's now 21 years old, still a young player, but no longer, that 19-year-old talent that he used to be. He is a player that at this age now, it's time to start showing himself. The best of the best players they see them at 2021. We see how good they are already. I know some people are late bloomers. Everybody's running a different race, but I think that it's time for him to start showing himself. It's time for people to start seeing his quality. It's time for at least Italy to start seeing how good a player he is or can be. So yes, I'm really, really rooting for Ebenezer Akinsanmiro, and I hope that he does well so that he can also bring that quality to the national team and for the future of the Super Eagles. Because of obviously, whether we like it or not, we need to be finding the people that are going to replace the likes of the Wilfred Ndidis, the likes of the Alex Iwobis, and all of them that are currently in our Super Eagles midfield. But yes, that is that on Ebenezer Akinsanmiro. And speaking of the Super Eagles midfield, the final transfer that we will talk about today, this boy was linked to all sorts of teams around the world, also had offers from Saudi Arabia, but eventually he chose to stay relatively competitive. He chose to go to one of the European top 5 leagues. Raphael Onyedika has joined Eintracht Frankfurt in the German Bundesliga for 10 million euros from Club Brugge in Belgium, and he has signed a deal until 2031. That is a 5-year deal. Raphael Onyedika, linked to AC Milan in the past, linked to all sorts of teams in England, and now takes his talents to Eintracht Frankfurt. What are your thoughts on this transfer?
No, good for him. I think he's the last man standing in that wonderful Club Brugge team. Everybody they move. Now only he cannot move. So for me, happy for him. At least it's a good move for him. He's moving to a more competitive league in the German Bundesliga, and he's playing for a team that is so popular in Africa, Frankfurt. He wants to play for that same club, and he made his name, there. So for me, I think it's a good move for him, but let's hope that he actually can perform there. See, Onyedika is another yo-yo player. It's another player that I think have so much potential, but it's just there, too. It's just there too, and he's how old now? 26 years of age.
Yeah.
So he's not a young player again. He's getting old. So for me, happy for him. Good move. Let's hope that this move can be can also help him with Super Eagles, because for now he's not a regular player in the Super Eagles. So let's hope that this move can really help him too. So I wish him the very best of luck. Rafa.
And let's talk about the fact that he rejected offers from Saudi Arabia. What do you think this says about him, or does it say anything? Because, of course, it's very easy to get tempted by the Saudi money. We're seeing all sorts of players, Nigerian, African, European, South American, moving to Saudi when they get some big offers on the table. What do you think that says about him deciding to choose Frankfurt over Saudi?
No, it shows legacy. Maybe he's very good friend. He just mentioned Saudi for a year. Don't pack his load. Don't dash his clothes. We're about to jump the ship straight away, and the Saudis disappear. So it shows that he wants to chase legacy. He believe that there's this still unfinished business in Europe. He wants to stay relevant. So Raphael Onyedika has never been to a competition that is a starter for Nigeria before. Remember, he has never been to a competition that is a starter for Nigeria before. He's always under the shadows of Freddy Didi, and I'm hearing reports now that I don't want to put the time there. Well, I know when Wilfred might probably, I don't want to put the time there, but so he needs to be prepared too. So for me, I'm happy for him. And look at this boy, Toshikunadi. He's playing in the top 5 European league. So I know that if he goes to Saudi Arabia, he's trying to play himself out of the national team. I think that I still believe that there's still a lot of time for him to spend in Europe. You have worked with him closely, and you know exactly what I don't know. So and you know that he's still on the right side, can still stay relevant in Europe. So for me, I'm happy for him, and I'm even more impressed, that he's actually was staying in Europe. But it's going to be, the issue is that he's not very close to his friend. That's my problem.
And how do you think the German Bundesliga can help his development? Considering the kind of player that he is. Onyedika he's a defensive midfielder on paper, but he's not as aggressive in his tackling, like some of the other players that we've seen. He's not an engine, the way some players have that engine that they can run non-stop. He doesn't win as many tackles, interceptions like a Wilfred Ndidi. So how do you think a league like German Bundesliga, a league that is quite technical, not the fastest paced league, how do you think that can really help him to grow as a player? Because he's getting into the ages where you expect him to now be reaching the peak of his powers, 27, 28. Those are the years where we start to see a player really thrive. How do you think the Bundesliga can do that for him?
You say it's about technique. If you look at the Bundesliga very well, you don't see all these rugged midfielders there. For example, now I don't know where this boy called. Is it Lucas Masha? Is it Lucas Masha that plays for
the German,
German. That I see that it's type of midfielder that is not that raw, but just good technique. So this guy too, Joshua Kimmich. Similar type of player too. So they are teams that is how their fall looks like in German Bundesliga. So, and I think that it fits Raphael Onyedika's profile. It's not going to be playing the Spanish league or maybe probably in the French league, for example, or the Italian Serie A. As you have this robust, this rugged, defensive midfielder, or the Premier League. So for me, I think it's very good for him. He can fit his style very well. Let's just hope that he develops better.
Amazing. And it's funny when I think about Onyedika again, I think of a player like Granit Xhaka. Xhaka obviously has some outstanding qualities like his leadership. We know that Xhaka has a fantastic left foot that can shoot, but generally I look at him and I say, okay, Xhaka is not a pacey midfielder. He is not a pacey midfielder. Xhaka has a solid, a good pass on him. Onyedika has a decent passing range. Maybe he can improve on that a little bit, but has a decent passing range. Can play defensively. Onyedika can play defensively. Not the most skillful, but very clean, very technical on the ball. And I just see some kinds of similarities there. And I think that the way Granit Xhaka marshaled that midfield for Bayer Leverkusen in their title-winning season, and the job that he has been doing for Sunderland since he moved to the English Premier League, back to the English Premier League, I think Onyedika might be able to do a similar kind of job for them. He's not going to win 10 tackles a game. He's not going to make 13 interceptions a game, but he can really control that midfield. Just make sure that he keeps things ticking in the right place at the right time, moving the ball forward for the more creative players to take control. He's not going to be on the headlines most nights. He's not that kind of player, but he is a player that can influence a game in a major way. And if you pay attention to what he does, I think that he can really do well. I just triple checked his age. He's 25 years old. So he still has time to really get into his own, but he doesn't have too much time. So he really needs to step it up a level. And hopefully, with the people that he knows, you mentioned his very good friend Victor Boniface also plays in the German Bundesliga. Hopefully they help him get settled in. He has some good players around him. It's rather unfortunate that Frankfurt did not qualify for Europe this season, and Onyedika is used to playing in the UEFA Champions League. But, it could still be a really good one for him, playing in the Bundesliga week in, week out. Who knows what he can, add to the team and how well he can do. And, of course, there's DFB Pokal as well that he can maybe get some minutes to really do well for himself. So, yes, looking forward to that one. Potentially making his competitive debut on the 21st of August in the DFB Pokal. So, we will be looking at him. And, of course, if you stay tuned to our social media channels, you'll be getting all the updates on Raphael Onyedika and his season with Eintracht Frankfurt. But yes, somebody said he's more of a CM, not necessarily a DM by trade. Sorry, give me 1 second. Sometimes I smile at these DM, CM, this thing kind of conversations because it gets so funny sometimes because DM in terms of your position on the field, but not necessarily DM in terms of the role that you do. Like Rodri is a DM. Is Rodri such a defensive midfielder? Not really, but Rodri is a DM. So I don't like to get carried away and get into the
controlling midfielder.
Yeah, exactly. He controls the game. But yes, let's move on very quickly because we have quite a bit to cover as well. Still, Smilai, I want you to get into this one for us. The Flying Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, we spoke about it. They were playing in the WAFU B on the 20 championship. They unfortunately lost their second game 2-0
Third,
against,
third.
oh, their third game, okay. 2-0 against Burkina Faso. How are things looking for the Flying Eagles? And how are you feeling about them so far?
In the last, they played the first two games. They beat Ghana 4-2 in the first game, beat Togo 3-0 in the first game. Let me just say it clearly here. You cannot beat Ghana here and be celebrating victory. Ghana Black Stars is a very, I won't say a useless team, but you had the chance to finish first in that group and play against a lesser opponent in Nigeria Republic. It just is when you decide to select players that are not good enough to play that game. They lost that game against Burkina Faso. Now, Burkina Faso is now top of the group, and Nigeria is second. Burkina Faso will now play against Nigeria Republic, which is a much, much easier tie. And Nigeria now play against Ivory Coast, which is going to be a very difficult tie. Ivory Coast beat Benin Republic 5-0. They also beat Niger 2-0, scored 7 goals, did not concede any. Ivory Coast, they are the ones hosting this WAFCON. So it's like you are playing against Ivory Coast for a ticket. You are playing against Ivory Coast for a ticket in the Africa Under-20 Championship. If they fail to beat Ivory Coast on Wednesday, that is the end of the road for this set of under-20 players. And they should know about these things. So, and that's what takes me to the NFF too, that you can't keep on doing the same thing, getting one result, and you use the same thing, getting that same result, you think that things will change for you. Things will never change if you know that you have to do the good thing. For me, I think it's bad. It looks bad, but I just hope that the boys can be able to bring birds out of their pockets and play against Burkina Faso. See, I looked at the team generally from goalkeeper to striker. It's like we're building their goalkeeper. It's like we're building another Francis Uzor. Look at the free kick that beats him nearly from halfway line. It just comes to my mind that we are bringing Francis Uzor again to under-20 level. And the goalkeeper is so mature goalkeeper. I don't want to go into that. He's a very mature goalkeeper. Look at how those small boys beat him from range. The players that played for this team, normally you wonder if they are even Nigerians. You wonder if they are not from different country. Because, what we are used to at this level is players that are talented. How can you have a Nigerian winger that cannot dribble somebody? Is it possible? How can you have a Nigerian winger that cannot dribble his opponent, cannot run? And sometimes when we do all these things, we act as if things are fine. See, I will tell you here, things are bad. Things are bad. See, we act as if, hey, this thing. Since the day they started prioritizing some players from the one part of the country at underage level, thinking that, okay, we have to select them. They have to be there. Since they started doing that, our age grade football has been zero. This thing started under Amaju Pinnick, picking players from the north. I will just say it, from the north to come and dominate on under 20. That is when we got it wrong. We pick players that is like you are picking somebody from, with due respect to them. It's not working. It's not working. Why can't you? Why can't you go to the east? Why can't you go to the east? That is where we get our wingers, our forward players mostly from. Why can't you go to the east? Go and scout the east. I don't know why these people are like this. They know the right thing to do, but because they are so irresponsible, that's the reason why they are still limiting this potential of this team. Now, look at it now. If they fail to win on Wednesday, that is the end of the road. Generation gone. They will sack Makaiba. See, I'm saying it here now. All these things, trying to pick player that are not good enough. The two regular players that are from the side they are trying to promote, that are playing regularly for Nigeria, Alassane Yusuf and Zaidu Sanusi, they didn't come through the 8th grade system. Alassane Yusuf went through the Gotia Cup. He went through the Gotia Cup. Zaidu Sanusi, we got him from FC Porto. He didn't play any 8th grade team. The only time that Zaidu Sanusi played for Nigeria, that was Super Eagles. First time was Super Eagles. So you cannot force all these things. They are so set of useless people. You cannot force all these things on us. We know where our players come from. We know where our players come from. You go to Southeast, all those Abakaliki, Onisha. We know where our players come from. Why can't you allow for fairness? Hey, he said, oh, they want to go and pick somebody from Galadima FC. That boy they went to go and pick from Galadima FC. Somebody is playing against Alumanjiri every day. He's shining. You now say, okay, he's a very good player. He should come to the national team. Who does that? Who does that? They will say, who does that? So for me, we have to reshape how our underage works. If not, we are going down the drain. If Super Eagles is not playing well and our underage is doing well, I'll be happy because the future is bright. But look at what is happening now. It's a very big shame. It's a very big shame for me.
So, similar, let me ask you, in this tournament so far, of course, only the 2 finalists will qualify for the World Cup, or rather but do you think that we should judge them only if they qualify for the 20 AFCON? Or can we still say that there's something for us to look forward to? Can we judge them based on potential and not simply the results? What do you think?
See, IoT, I don't know if you have watched any of those games. You see, the eye will go last long, no the pain early. You will know some of those boys are just they are not just good enough. They are just style. They are not substance. Let me just put it that way. I saw one boy, Oraro Lucky, is a defensive midfielder in this team. You'll be hey, like this, doing action on the ball, but there's no substance. There is no substance. You just know, how they demonstrate on the ball. That's all he does. But when he's under pressure, you will see that he doesn't know anything. The number 10, Simeon, captain of the team, he will dribble, he will pass to the opponent. At age 18, 19, IoT, they expect you. See, in the new FIFA points document, say teach at 17 years. You must teach these players on how to win. One boy from Barau FC, that boy, he go for bed ball at the back, and he's playing the Nigerian Premier League. So you say confirmed 25. When you say confirmed 27, for you to even say that, clearly that these guys might not be that. So if they are playing like this against a very small young Burkina Faso team, where is now the future? One boy, is he Olayemi, playing right back? He's playing for Warri Wolves. How's that boy playing the MPFA? There's one boy to say he's playing for Malaga on the 19. His left leg, it's like they put POP in his right leg. He cannot turn, he cannot shift. So you look around this team. It's only maybe probably Muis Adeleke that can excite you. But even the boy is limited. So it's not, if they are so good. For example, now, Mikel Obi said, they did not qualify from the group stage. The worst record for the 17 player in the history of Nigeria, national team. But that team produced Obasi Obuke, produced Mikel Obi, produced the late Promise, produced Solomon Okoronkwo, produced Emmanuel Saki. So, in my own opinion, I think that if you see potential, 3 or 4 players that can go on to be Super Eagles players in the future, it's a big win than, no, you're not doing well. The reason why we clamor for this WAFCON is that when they get to under 20, AFCON under 20, they might still, bring in some players that can come and do well. But if they are going to crash out now, they already stop that opportunity to bring next player, to have a next camp. So it's like he's dead. It's like what? He's dead.
Do you have any faith that they can defeat Cote d'Ivoire?
I hope so. But based on what I watched the 2 Ivory Coast game. I also watched the 3 Nigerian games. Based on what I see, Nigeria did not create any opportunity in the second half against Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
In fact, the coach even went to go and see them at some point. Yes, because he has nothing to offer. Nothing. The coach doesn't have certificate. They have to do exemption for him to be on the touchline. So even somebody that you gave work does not have certificate. And there's no that coach qualified in Nigeria to take the team. So I hope they win. But I will not put my hopes on that. I think they lost. If they don't win, I will not be surprised.
All right.
They are fasting and praying. I'm just going to say something.
Okay.
Fasting and praying. Now, I don't know what's your take about that. For me, I think fasting and praying, they say they fasted today. What's your take about that? I don't want to comment about what's your take about fasting and praying.
I mean, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I also fast. I also pray. But there's also the saying that faith without works is dead. At the end of the day, you can have all the faith in the world, but God is not going to come down from heaven and kick the ball for you. God is not going to come down and he's not going to confuse your opposition and help you win a game. God is not going to put the ball into the back of the net for you. You have to still put in the work. And you pray to God for guidance. You pray to God for the right direction. You pray to God to avoid injuries and things like that. As much as Nigeria is praying, believe me, the Ivorians are also praying. Everybody is praying. God does not have favorites. He loves all of us equally. We're all his children. So for me, you can fast and pray if that's what helps you to believe and helps you to get in the mindset. But in the grand scheme of things, you have to put in the work. You have to game plan properly. You have to select the right team, and then you have to go and execute on the day. God can grant you favor before men and things like that, but at the end of the day, you need to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, God is not going to just somehow just tell the referee to just give you goals and for you to win the game. So I don't know. Let them do what they think is best for them, but they need to deliver at the end of the day.
Let me say someone last thing. I want to say something to the NFL president, Alaji, or I don't know if maybe it's Malam, Ibrahim Gusso. You have been doing this thing for so many years. You will camp team for 5 weeks from this crash. You will want to go and qualify for a tournament. You have been doing that one. It's not been working for you. Madness is when you keep on doing the same thing all the time and you keep on getting the same results. We don't have a regular under-20 team. We only camp them when it's time for a tournament. That shows that you are not competent to be the NFF president. And if you have the fear of God in you, you should resign before the election in November, because you are so useless to our football. You have put our football back for 20 years, and we Nigerians, we don't support you coming back as the NFF president. Because this has been happening for Nigeria. The age grade system is dead under you and your godfather, Amaju Pinnick. I think that there's a time for you to step back and let another person takes the M for affair in the NFF. You have killed the age grade system. You are killing the Falcons. The Super Eagles is whether here or there, and you still want to continue in office. I think if you love Nigeria and you want this country to move forward, don't stand for the next election. Ibrahim Gusso, you must go. Thank you, Ayoti. No, maybe Ayoti.
It's
civil. Yes.
Those are some strong words that you are using. But look, unfortunately, we have this thing in Nigeria that nobody likes to step down from a position of power, from a position of authority. So I understand where you're coming from. I understand that it is probably in our best interest for somebody else to be at the helm of affairs. But I don't think that you've done enough. In your very passionate plea, I don't think that it was enough for him to not run for the next election. He will hear that. He will say, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm still going to run. And unfortunately or fortunately for us, he's probably even going to still be the one to win. So we're going to get more of the same. But yes, there's a lot that needs to be done. Our administration in the country's football is terrible, terrible, terrible. We cannot keep hanging on to the success of some players that have done well despite or in spite of our system. You cannot look at Osimhen and say, oh, because Osimhen is doing well, it means that Nigerian football is doing well, or because the Super Eagles are getting to the bronze medal in the AFCON, and that means that they're doing well, or because the Super Falcons won the last AFCON, that means that they're doing well. I think that the administration, something needs to change. And for me, it's even this is something that happens. We focus a lot on the president. Not this even happens in Nigeria in general, so not even just in our football. We focus a lot on the Oga Pata Pata, but the people underneath, they are very crucial in the success or the failure of the department as a whole, or the administration. And I think that whether Ibrahim Gusso remains the NFF president or not, the rest of the people, from the general secretary to the technical director to everyone that makes up the board of the NFF, these people need new faces, new brains, new heads, new ideas, new inspiration. Because a lot of these people have been there for such a long time, continue to do the same old thing, cannot speak up when things are going wrong, make silly excuses. Even the ones that are there supposed to represent the interests of certain marginalized groups, they still don't do anything. So as much as the NFF president is fair to say needs to change, I think the entire administration of the NFF largely needs to change, because a lot of people that are there that make up the board, they were there under Amaju. Guso came, it's the same people that are there. You can even be a good leader, but if you have bad advisors and a bad team, your output will be bad at the end of the day. That's why companies also always like to hire the best employees, because the CEO can be good, but if the employees are bad, the company is going to be bad. And I think it's important. We need a wholesome administrative change, not just the figurehead changing. Similar, go on.
You know that there was a day, I'm going to quote you now. You are so detailed in your work. And I will say it here, This man is very hard work, You are so detailed in your work. I remember you told me one day, and I will say it here, that your video editor did not do some things well. You are not pleased with it. You send it back. When you post the video, they will not remember that it was your video editor that made the mistake. Everything will be pinned on IoT that we saw this video on Ego Tracker. So it's now the responsibility to make sure that video editor that you employed is doing the right job. IoT, why is it that NFF rely on Femi Pereira to snap picture of Falcons? That is just a content creator, maybe somebody on the street, or somebody that's just in Morocco. How come NFF doesn't have a meeting? It's the president. Is the one that we know that, okay, you know what? I want to attract what? Like minds. Well, when they sit in one place, critical or not, everything is finished. No, I'm just saying it. You have to be, I want to work with this person. I want to work with this person. This one is good. You scout for your people that can actually make your thing very good. It's not about it. See, except you are irresponsible. If you are a leader, your eye will be on everything.
Yeah.
Your eye will be on everything. And I know that some people, I don't want to go to, bigger scale, say, one person, you are trying to say, okay, I'm watching the video of some things that is actually what's happening. He keeps, he knows that everything is going beyond him. For example, now, the issue, Gusso can sack Patrick Pascal.
If he wants to.
Yeah. Yes, he can sack Patrick Pascal. Or instead of sacking Patrick Pascal, he can say, you know what, I want to establish a super good management team. He's going to make Patrick Pascal redundant. Are you getting me? So, there's so many ways he can do things. Super Falcons should be able to have a management team. So, it's him that is a dullard. You see, IoT is not news. IoT, you have listened to Ibrahim Gusso talk live before. You know what I'm talking about. It's not, should be somebody that should see, if this person should be wrong, it should be washing toilets. I don't know. But what I'm just trying to say basically is that no. The IoT.
How about now?
I'm not saying IoT. I'm not talking down on this man. But IoT, you need to watch this man for 1 hour talk. This man is himself is not good enough to head Nigerian football. It's not good enough. So, in my own opinion, if you are the head and this is happening, you don't want this thing to spoil in front of you.
No, you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, look, the buck stops at your desk. When you are the leader of an organization, everything that happens within your organization comes down to your table, and people are going to look at you. So you're not wrong at all. What I was just trying to say is that we need a whole, a wholesome change. We need a wholesome change. At the end of the day, a good leader cannot run a bad leader rather cannot run a good organization, no matter how hard it tries. Your employees can try to pull you up, but if you also have bad employees, you have a bad administrative team, you have a bad management team, then everything just goes awry and everything just goes bad. And that's kind of like the point that I was trying to make. For me, I unfortunately, I haven't been doing Eagle Striker long enough, so my depth of my concentration on Nigerian football and the leadership and everything, unfortunately, it only really goes as far back. I have knowledge of the people that were there before, but in terms of me, really focusing on them day to day, it doesn't go that far back. And the ones that I've seen, they haven't done anything to amaze me. So, but I know that Nigerian football used to work. So I know that people that were there before have done things in the right way. And for me, like, I just really hope that we can get strong minds, we can get innovative people that really want to drive things forward, people that are not selfish, that are not greedy. Don't be like Yanni Infantino that is trying to give himself a salary of 30 million. We need people that really want to drive our football forward and are ready to work towards that. And I really don't know who that person is, but I know that there has to be somebody out there that can do much better for us. And I know that there are constraints. I know that there's the Nigeria factor. There's all sorts of issues that pop up here and there. But I still believe that in spite of all of this, our football can move in the right direction. And see, again, even if certain things don't work out, even if results don't necessarily improve, there are things that can be moving in the right direction, and people will still be able to say, look, this person is doing a good job. And a perfect example is like Eric Shell. Look, ultimately, did Eric Shell achieve the goal that was set out to qualify for the World Cup? No, he did not. But everybody can still look at it and say, this man has put us in the right path. This man is moving us in the right direction. He is doing a good job. And that's what we're just looking for our Nigerian football. But if we go into...
sorry, I just want to give you 30 seconds. 30 seconds, sorry.
Okay.
You said that you have never seen maybe probably it's not worked for you. But, Ibrahim Galadima, when he was NFL president, he employed John Fashanu to run the league. People could say, hey, he didn't play for Nigeria. He's into gambling. He's not this thing. That year, IoT, Julius Berger played in the final of the Cup Winners' Cup. Ranger plays in the semi-final of the CAF Cup. Eniba won the Champions League before they come out just 1 year. Sometimes it's that change that you just need. This same man, the league was working. Nigeria was the best league then in Africa. We beat Al-Ali. Rangers beat Al-Ali 4-0 in Enugu. 4-0. The same Al-Ali that Egypt won the AFCON 2 years after. I mean 3 years after. Mikel Obi set. Then they played in the final of the Under 20 World Cup. So it's just have that edge. Though people did not like him, the same Galadima failed to qualify for the World Cup. And based on that, people believe that they used this thing for him. What's it called? World Cup, not our birthright. That was his flaws. But talking about how Nigerian league developed under Ibrahim Galadima, for me, I think that was the best. He had the best policy for the Nigerian league and also for the age grade system. He said, guys, in 2003, he gave a government the job to Finland. We discovered young players. Mikel Obi was there. Obasi Wike was there. Solomon Kuruku was there. 2 years after, they played in the final of the Under 20 World Cup. So even if Super Eagles wasn't doing well there, we know that Super Eagles not qualify for the World Cup then can be termed to different things. But those small points, I see Nigeria benefited from that in the long run.
Well said. Very, very well said. Okay. We're going to move forward for the sake of time.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly take a super chat comment here that I have. So Adebayo is asking what is happening with Vince Osuji. I mean, there's no news there. Vince Osuji has played 2 preseason games for Club Brugge, and let's see if he's a part of their first team core this season. Their league season starts, I think, in about 4 days or thereabouts. So we'll just be paying attention to see what happens with him over there. But no real update on him unless you have something different, like.
Yes, he's not been picked for preseason after he was dropped after the 2 games. So when they traveled out, he wasn't picked. So I thought that he should be moving from that club. Nayoti cannot be in that club. Campbell is a very good friend in the club, Brugge. Club, is it Club Nest or what they call it?
Club NXT.
Club NXT, yeah. The boy already moved to a different Belgian club. If Osugi really wants to develop, I think he should leave Club Brugge now. I don't think they're going to pick him. Yeah.
All right. And also thank you to Charles for the super sticker. Much, much, much appreciated, guys. You can keep supporting the channel with super chat, super stickers. If you can't, please just hit the like button on the video. More than half of people that are watching have still not liked it. I don't know why I have to always beg you guys. But please, if you can support with super chat, super stickers, if you can't, please just hit the like button. That one costs you nothing, and it helps the channel so much. But thank you to everyone that is supporting the channel. Your audience, your money, everything is very, very much appreciated. Aduba says, keep up the good work or the great work exposing the NFF. But yes, thank you very much for that comment and for the super chat, Aduba. Okay, Smila, let us move forward. There's 2 more things that I want us to touch on. We're already an hour and a half into this, so we'll have to move fairly
like it's like 1 hour.
Time really does fly. But yes, a lot of people are watching us. So let's keep the conversation going. The first one that I want to talk about is going off the field a little bit. So this is not the Super Eagles. Sorry, let me restart. Nigeria has secured the hosting rights for the 2026 CAF Awards. I don't know if you guys have seen that in the news. The ceremony is to take place at the newly renovated Wole Soyinka Center for Culture and Creative Arts in Lagos, Nigeria. Of course, the CAF Awards is where all the top stars in Africa, the top coaches, the top national teams are celebrated. We've seen in recent years the likes of Asisa Toshuala, Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, Chiamaka Nnadozie all get celebrated. And usually they do this in like Morocco in the recent times, but they are bringing it to Lagos, Nigeria. And it's not the first time that Nigeria will be hosting the ceremony. Of course, we've done it in 2015 in Lagos, we've done it in 2017 in Abuja. It's been like, this is something that is not on the pitch, it's off the pitch. But my first question to you, should Nigerians be happy? Should Nigerians even care about the fact that the CAF Awards is coming to Nigeria? What do you say?
For me, I don't care. What's my business with CAF Award? That no Nigerian player will win the African Player of the Year. What's not my business? See, I know that that's being selfish, in terms of because I'm used to say, the hotel, people will book hotel. That's what they're talking about. People will book hotel. This will, for me, I don't think it's something that excites me. I have to be honest with you, IoT. I think I prefer Nigeria to host the AFCON than to go with hosting the CAF Award. CAF Award is like hosting Burna Boy show. So what is the point of it's like that is what we can do to host party. That's where they see us. Build infrastructure, IoT. They went to inspect stadium for African Championship for last year. We failed. Build stadiums. I'm not excited IoT about hosting. Even if we don't have people that are contesting, maybe probably if Falcons win this WAFCON, they win the team of the year again. Maybe Chiamaka win the goalkeeper of the year again as usual. What else again? You know our regular award now. African Player of the Year. We are not going to win it. We did go to the World Cup. We didn't have players being in top form. Woman Player of the Year. With due respect to you, I don't think we have players, in top form.
Not this year.
Not this year. So you just want to come and entertain guests and visitors. That is for me. I am not
young player.
Impressed. Who is the young player? Who is the young player?
I don't know anybody now. They can give you.
When Buhari is there, you want to go and give young player to anybody?
Okay, who can be nominated?
No, they can't nominate us in the African Player of the Year. I don't think so. They can nominate us in the women player league. Maybe
But
Shamaka.
Osimhen can make the initial shortlist now, like the 10 man.
He cannot make the top 3.
No, but the first 10.
Yeah, but they call it out the top 3 now, so
Yeah,
it won't be in the award. Who can be the young player? Young player will not be in the top 3 because we don't have any young player coming up and are doing very well. So we are still buying potential. Zadok Jana has not played for Brighton, so we don't know, maybe it's anywhere close. So I think it's not. We're just hosting. Well, if I were hosting for Morocco, to win everything again. So for me, I think it's not. I'm not excited about it. We should go and host, build infrastructure. Let's host proper tournament.
All right. Well said. I mean, I think it's a good event to host, but like you said, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a reflection of Nigerian football in any way. We still cannot host major tournaments. Of course, this one just requires a handful of hotels and one facility that's going to host the actual awards. Something like hosting the AFCON or even the under-17 or under-20.
We can't even host beach soccer.
Requires actually having stadiums and infrastructure, which we don't have. To host beach soccer requires having good beaches, which we don't have either. There's a lot of things that we need to get right. But I mean, it's to showcase Nigeria a little bit, to bring people tourism. Maybe it's like we can travel to Lagos, attend, the events. Just
which events? We go clapping for Akimi.
And you clap for Ibrahim Busotu now when he picks up the women's national team of the.
I don't think he'll be there at that time.
Okay. But yes, I mean that's just a side note. The Lagos will be hosting the CAF award, and of course the CAF Congress too is in Abuja. But yeah, that's that. Okay, let's wrap up the topics for today by looking at our main competition and our main focus in this past few weeks. The Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON 2026, has been going on, and it has been a mixed tournament for the Super Falcons so far. 2 games played, we have 1 win and 1 defeat. Thankfully, our group is shaping up in a way that the Super Falcons are still in a prime position to qualify. Just a quick recap for those that maybe have missed it. The Super Falcons opened the tournament with a 3-2 defeat against Malawi. It was a shock. Debutants, the Chawinga sisters, turned up. They beat Nigeria. Ajibade scored from the spot. Uche Nakano came off the bench and scored in the 99th minute, but it was too little, too late. We lost that game. It put us on a knife edge. It put us in a very tough spot going into the second game against Zambia. Zambia, of course, always one of those teams that you have to respect. Even though we flogged them 5-0 at the last WAFCON, we knew that it would not necessarily be an easy match. I did a whole preview video on that one. People enjoyed it. And we got into that game. Asad Oshuala was one of the big surprises that Justin Madugu made as far as his changes, putting Esther Okonkwo on the bench and playing Asad Oshuala up front. People criticized the lineup and Asad Oshuala's inclusion before the game even started, but she paid it off in 8 minutes, scoring a goal that eventually proved to be the winner because we won that game 1-0. Tosin Bimei, Bababanda was a handful for her. She fouled her the first time. It was called back because of an offside. She fouled her within like 4-5 minutes after that, and she got sent off in that game, which meant that the Super Falcons just had to show great resilience, tenacity to fight and hang on to a 1-0 victory in that game. To be honest, Zambia were very disappointed in terms of their build-up play, in terms of their chance creation. Playing against 10 players, Zambia were not trying to be inventive. They just kept on trying to do the same thing, trying to play long crosses and play long balls to Bababanda for her to try to somehow turn. And Christy Uchebe stepped into that defensive role, and she did a very, very good job on Bababanda. So right now, we are with 3 points on the board. We are second on the table because of the head-to-head results against Zambia, and we're looking forward to our third match against Egypt. Of course, Egypt have been the punching bags of our group so far. They lost their first game 6-0. They lost their second game 3-1. Before we get into the Egypt game, though, let's quickly talk about the tournament so far. What are your general thoughts on how the Super Falcons have performed at WAFCON 2026 up to this point?
For me, I think the team that the Falcons that played this competition, you'll be wondering that maybe probably there are different Falcon team that played, in the last World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. They've been below par. A team that we struggled against Malawi. We lost that game 3-2. We fought, to beat Zambia in our second game. So it's been a tournament that we have not seen the best of the Falcons, before. We have not seen the best of the Falcons, in this tournament. And I think that if we are to qualify for the World Cup, we need to raise our game and do better in upcoming games, in my opinion. I think the girls, some players have been below par, but the good thing is that they didn't draw or lose the game against Zambia, because a draw or a lose against Zambia will be the end of the road for our darling Falcons team, and that'll be the first time Nigeria will not qualify for the World Cup in what's it called since the start of the tournament. So for me, I won't say that the two games have been that impressive. The game against Zambia was like we are fighting for our lives. So they fought for their lives. It wasn't comfortable. I've never watched Falcons during AFCON before and knelt down. For the whole of. In fact, I wanted to go and win. I started the second half. That we stayed there till the end of the second, the end of the game. I did not know. So watching my darling Falcons team still getting scared, this team has been badly coached, and I hope that they can actually change things around.
Speaking of the coach, let me ask you this question, and I'll ask you two questions that I want you to answer for me back to back. So the first one is on the coach. Justin Madugu, I've criticized him, you've criticized him, lots of media and fans have criticized him. For the second game against Zambia, he made 5 changes. Maybe those are changes that he should have even done from the first game. But can we give the coach any credit and say he got it right in terms of his selection and his system for the second game? And again, like I mentioned, one of the big calls he made was starting assistant Oshuala. Do you think Oshuala has shut some people up that keep saying she's not good enough, she's old, she's playing in Saudi? Has she shut some people up with the performance? Because not only did she score a goal in that game, her running was evident throughout the game. Running in behind, the pace that people say she does not have pace anymore. She showed she showed pace.
Acceleration, yeah.
She showed pace in that game. So my two questions: one, can we give Madugu any credit for the changes, and has Oshuala shut people up with her performance against Zambia?
For me, I think talking about giving him the flowers, I will never give Madugu any flower, anything. And the changes he made against Zambia was players that didn't do well in the game against Malawi. He just puts them. He puts a different player in. And for me, I think he should have known something, that these players are not probably good enough or they're not fit enough. How on earth can you start Chinwendu Nyezuo? When last did Jamilusi don't monitor play last? For me, he did what a like changes, and there was not something tactical about it. The approach was okay. You know what? For years, we have been using Oshuala is that get the ball over the top and let Oshuala chase the ball. That's how we have been using Oshuala for donkey years, and that's what he did. Ajibade got the ball up, one time. Oshuala misplaced, he did not finish the game, he did not finish that ball. Second time, we're lucky, he missed the ball, but the ball ricocheted to her leg, and she scored. So in my opinion, I think that it was a like-to-like change. I didn't see any tactical things there. The shape, the tension from Malawi in that first game was clear. They wanted to do something, and throughout, Madugu did not respond to that tactical change. And in game against Zambia too, the Zambia coach or Nora for me, I think is a very, very poor coach too. So in my opinion, I won't give him flowers because these girls, they have bigger potentials than their opponents, and we're just limiting them to this, which I think that is really, really actually what unfair. So I don't know, maybe it is back. So, but which is actually what extremely actually what unfair. So, I will, because what I expect him to even change the game and adapt the game, with the girls. I think that okay now. So for me, Oshuala's performance was brilliant, and people that don't watch women football, people that don't scout these players, sometimes might disagree that you know what, playing in Saudi now, much weakerly, but the quality is still there. How many times African Player of the Year she won? Maybe probably 6 or so African Player of the Year. So for me, the experience is there. and we needed him to needed her to actually to show up. And I'm actually happy for her. And she did. She did. The pace is still there. The pressing, she still pressed very well. So for me, I can give her flowers. Though she's not a player that can play for 90 minutes. I think that she can be very helpful for a good 60 minutes. So if Nigeria is to move on this time, I think that Shuala will be very instrumental to Nigeria progressing. So for me, I will also start her against Egypt. Let's see exactly what she can actually do. Talking about Madugu, I forgot to say this. He brought in Chiwendu Nyezu for Shuala in that game. Nyezu showed that she's not okay. She's not fit enough. So how come that Madugu can know this thing in training, and despite that, he is still trying to put Chiwendu Nyezu in that game? In my opinion, I think that Nyezu doesn't have any business here until she's fit enough to play for this team. For me, I think that the man should mind himself when he's trying to make his own words position. This girl, she's not ready yet, and I think that Monday Gift would have been a better replacement for Shuala in that game, or maybe even Esther Okoronko should be a better replacement, or even Joy Omewa. Ezo is not fit. You know what? It got to a time that Alozie was injured. She was actually outside for a couple of minutes. Nobody was covering for her, the left back. So for me, Ezo really, really not fit, and I hope that the coach can actually observe this thing and don't just throw players in, anyhow. Yezo is not fit and should be kept on the bench for a long time.
Let me ask you this, because you're talking about you would potentially start Oshoala again against Egypt. Where does this leave Esther Okonkwo? Does that mean that Esther Okonkwo has to now play behind the striker? Do you move her to the flank? Of course, Esther is one of the players that was really key for us in our WAFCON journey last time around. Where does that leave her with Oshoala now maybe earning her place in the squad with the performance against Zambia?
I mean, because you got Joe Echegini is not available for the game against Egypt. She got suspended, so I might probably place Esther Okoronko, just behind Oshoala, because she's good at running, all these late runs, driving runs and everything. I know that she cannot pick a pass like Joe Echegini, but she can actually make all these late runs in the box, and now she can actually go to left foot and she can score goals. So, because I don't expect Egypt to give us a problem, especially. So, if I have Ayinde and Abiodun, behind Joe, I think, sorry, behind the Esther, I think we have enough players to attack them. I think we needed 4 players to attack Egypt at once. So, yeah, I think so.
And I want to ask you a question now about African teams. Do you think the other African teams, the Malawis, the Zambias, are they starting to really close this gap between them and the Super Falcons? Or are we going to look at these two games and say, look, the Super Falcons are simply the ones that are underperforming? How do you look at it? Because the Malawi game, we played badly, we lost. The Zambia game, we won the game, we fought hard, but to be honest, it wasn't a great performance. We won that game, but we cannot say, wow, like we're so happy with the way the game went. We did not create that many opportunities. I think maybe we had 2 real opportunities in that game, the one that Oshoala missed and then the one that she eventually scored. We didn't create that many. Zambia still had 1 or 2 moments, but again, like I said, Zambia were very, very inventive in that game, even when they were playing against 10 players. So is the gap closing, or are the Super Falcons just underperforming so far?
I think we are underperforming, and the gap is also closing. I think 2 things can actually work and be right. I think I listened to that Malawian coach after the first game. He was so surprised that their plan worked. That Nigeria is not even showing any resistance. No, it was so surprised. So it tells you that there is something wrong somewhere. We're not doing what we are meant to do. I think Nora up to 2. If the Zambian team is, I think Zambia should have progressed more than this. If this not Nora up, I don't think Nora up to is doing a very good job with Zambia, with due respect to her. Because this team will fail to qualify for the World Cup, you will see. I think they will lose against Malawi. I think they will lose against Malawi. So, and another time, because last time around was quarterfinal. This one around, is what are you not getting is $10,000 for? I mean, $12,000 for. in Zambia. So for me, I think we're underperforming. It's also getting closer. Look at South Africa, for example. You can see clearly that Tanzania, Ivory Coast, they don't catch South Africa already, because Africa is our direct opponent, in this women football. But teams are now scared of South Africa again, and now teams are beginning to they are not even scared of Nigeria again. So for me, I think they don't catch South Africa, but for us, I think the gap remains small.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think one of the biggest issues that South Africa has is their core is still not being replaced properly. But I think Nigeria, we have a little bit of a difference in the fact that we still have some of our younger players that are coming up that maybe might be able to replace, like an Osinachi or Hale. You can trust that, okay, maybe in 1 or 2 years, Oladipo can replace her quite well. The main is also young. We have some of those players that are stepping up into the role. Oshwala, we can have people that will replace. Whereas South Africa, they are still relying on some of their more experienced bodies. And if you watch, when I did my WAFCON preview, when I talked about all the 16 teams, that was one of the things that I mentioned in South Africa, that while I expected them to do well, I still consider the fact that their team is aging as a problem for them. And unfortunately, they are not even doing half as well as I thought that they would still be able to do. I mean, there's one more game to go. Who knows what's going to happen in that one? But of course, they are hanging by a thread. They should even have lost that their second match as well, and they would have been pretty much out of the tournament. But yes, okay. Let me also ask you this, and I want to ask this to the audience as well. So everyone that's watching, you can let us know your thoughts in the comments. So after watching that Zambia game, I don't want to look over Egypt. Yeah, I want to give them a little bit of respect. But the Super Falcons should be beating Egypt and be beating them fairly comfortably. With all due respect to them, we should be beating them fairly comfortably. Smilai, do you have any confidence? Or let me not say do you have any confidence. Everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening, what is your level of confidence in the Super Falcons' ability to, one, qualify for the World Cup, and two, win the WAFCON? Based on what we've seen so far, the loss against Malawi, the victory over Zambia. Because to be honest, even if we beat Egypt, we cannot use the punching bags of the group as our barometer to know how well we are doing. Even if we're going to beat them 5, Zambia gave them 6. So we can't use them as a barometer. Based on what you've seen so far, what's your level of confidence in terms of qualifying for the World Cup and in terms of winning the whole tournament?
So, qualifying for the World Cup, if I'm to say my wish, is that I want Nigeria to qualify for the World Cup and finish 4th, so I can sack Madugu. Because Madugu cannot take us anywhere. Because if this Madugu again look for a way to go and win this tournament, hey, he won the WAFCON, let him continue. The team is dying. It's going down. So for me, I think I'm actually I'm confident that the team can fight for the World Cup ticket, because I can see clearly that in Group D, Cameroon is top in that. They finished 4th in that group. I know that there's no way that I don't think Cape Verde can catch them again, and I don't think Mali can also top that group again. So they're now top of the group, so they will face 2nd in our group. And so if we face Cameroon, I'm confident that we can beat Cameroon and qualify for the semi-finals. So, and when you qualify for the semi-finals, that's automatic qualification for the World Cup. So that is actually very, very good for me. And I think that these girls can actually can achieve that. So I'm confident that these girls can qualify for the World Cup. So, but about winning the tournament, I think I have issues with that, because based on the performance of the girls for the first 2 games, none of you can believe that the girls can actually win they were not the best. We're not playing the best football in this current WAFCON tournament.
I'll come to what people are saying in the comments in a bit. But do you think it's maybe a little bit of a blessing in disguise that Cameroon are winning their group, so that we get to face Cameroon? Because we know, say, Cameroon, our regular customer, we play them friendly.
You never know.
You know,
Well,
no,
see, you never
you
know.
never know. But I'm just looking at it that Cameroon is a team that we would go into that game. The players would go into that game feeling fairly confident because they've played them. And to be fair, we also can. Let's not act like we can still finish first in our own group as well. Just
Mm-hmm.
depending on how things go. But I'm just saying that playing Cameroon, there will be some level of confidence that the players will go into because even though anything can happen on any given day, if I've beaten you 3-4 times in a row, type of thing, or maybe I beat you three, we drew one, I will feel like okay, if I play well, I feel beats me. Like
Mm-hmm.
versus Ghana, which Ghana too, we should feel confident playing them. But Ghana are supposed to pose a bigger threat than Cameroon, especially considering how Ghana did at the last WAFCON. So do you think finishing second could actually be a blessing in disguise for us now? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. It could be blessing this guy because even if Ghana is not playing well, they are not playing well currently. When they play against Nigeria, it's a different ballgame entirely. It's like a rivalry. So it's a rivalry, not like a rivalry. So they play, with all everything they have in them. So for me, against Cameroon, it's also a rival game, but I think that is a lesser, it's not as tough as playing against Ghana.
Okay. Let me quickly go to the comments and see what people are saying. So some people maybe do not hear me, but I'm not asking if you believe we will beat Egypt. I think everybody believes that we will beat Egypt. I said, what's your level of confidence on a scale of 1 to 10 that we would qualify for the World Cup, which means getting to the semi-final, which means beating either Ghana or Cameroon, whichever one of them we face in the next round, and of winning the entire tournament. That's what I'm asking about. Let me just quickly see what some people are saying. So Oluwaseun says, for me, very shaky. The current performance doesn't suggest we can win the WAFCON. World Cup qualifying might be by a tiny margin. So it's saying close one, we can qualify for the World Cup, but winning the entire AFCON, he's not too confident about. Okay. Who else here? So Unayameka says the level of confidence that we will win Egypt is 100%, but we need to improve greatly in this WAFCON. Okay. Um, Yusuf says, I think qualifying for the World Cup will be the win for the team because they don't have the quality to retain the WAFCON. Nothing is impressive about their performance as defending champions. Smith, do you agree with that phrasing? Say that they don't have the quality to retain the WAFCON. I know they're not doing well, but would you agree that they don't have the quality?
They can won. These girls can do magic. That is one thing. But based on how they are playing now, we won't give you any confidence they can retain it. It's not about the quality now. It's about are they playing to their level?
Hmm.
So if they're not playing to their level, that means that they're not showing the quality. So for me, based on what we see now, there's nothing to suggest that they can go ahead and win. I don't think this team can withstand the pressure of playing against Morocco. I'm sorry. I think if you give against Ivory Coast, might struggle. I think so. So for me, I think they are very good, but they're not showing the level of confidence. Because you know what, this team can actually go ahead and actually win it. That is my take on that.
Who would you say right now, based on the tournament so far, 2 games in for most groups, 3 games for Group A, who would you say are your favorites to win the tournament?
For me, I've been saying it before, and I'm going to say it again. I like the way Algeria is playing. I like the way Algeria. I think Algeria and Morocco, they are really actually coming of age. I think I like the two teams the way they actually would play. I enjoy Ivory Coast too. Well, they have a very bad second half against Africa. I enjoy Ivory Coast. So I think Malawi is doing well. I think Malawi is doing very well. So for me, I think those 4 teams actually were doing, pretty well. South Africa have been underperforming. I can see they're still using Ramalepe for how many years? They're still using. I think Catalana has dropped form so badly. Catalana has dropped form so badly. Even Magaya, even Motlalu, they have dropped form so badly. So for me, we have teams that can actually give us problems. Morocco are playing better now than they played in the last WAFCON. They struggle against Ghana, they struggle against Senegal. Though they still struggle today, but at least they had the better chances. So for me, I think if we don't raise our game, the best time to raise our game is against Egypt. and I should hope that we should win. But for me, if Egypt go and form a low block, our guests should be clever enough to open them up. If not, we'll be in trouble again. Because all this formation we're talking about is when we beat Egypt. If we cannot beat Egypt, we are going home.
Yeah.
So we must beat Egypt. And the person that normally opens game up for us is, what's it called? She's out. That is Joey shaking it. She's out. She's going to normally dribble, take players on, pass. He's out. So we need to work very hard, beat Egypt, get our form back, and we can actually progress from that.
Okay, let's talk about the Egypt game very quickly to wrap up for this evening. A lot of people want to know what the different permutations and combinations are. So, Smilai, I want you to walk us through. Nigeria can finish anywhere from first to third in this group, depending on how to do it.
Nigeria can finish last.
We can finish last if Egypt beat us.
Yes.
But tell us, so what are the different possibilities? How can we finish first? How can we finish second? How can we finish third? Can you walk us through?
One, the tiebreaker for CAF is head-to-head. When two or more teams actually were tied, they go for head-to-head. So the first result, which is the least possible result, is for Nigeria to lose against Egypt. So if Nigeria lose against Egypt, and Nigeria lose against Egypt, and Malawi beat Zambia in that game, Nigeria, Zambia, and Egypt will be on 33 points. So they will now check the head-to-head results between them. So it's good time on head-to-head. They will now check the goals difference. I think Zambia will qualify because of a better goals difference ahead of Egypt. Let's put it that way. That's least likely to happen. Nigeria might probably actually finish, cannot lose to Egypt. If Nigeria should draw against Egypt, Nigeria will be on 4 points. Egypt will be on what? On 1 point. Nigeria can only qualify if Malawi beats Zambia. So if Malawi beats Zambia, Malawi will be on 9 points, Zambia on 3 points, Nigeria on 4 points, and Egypt on 1 point. So Nigeria qualifies second place team in that group. But a draw, if Zambia and Malawi too draw their game, and Nigeria drew against Egypt, Nigeria can still qualify because Nigeria have a better head-to-head than Zambia. That's a draw. Now let's go to win. If Nigeria should beat Egypt, Nigeria will have 6 points, and if Zambia lose to Malawi, Zambia will have 3 points. It's going to be 9, 6, 3, 0. But if now the most possible outcome is Nigeria to beat Egypt, and maybe Zambia to beat Malawi. So if Zambia beats Malawi by 1 goal, that means that Nigeria beats Egypt by 200-0. Let's just put it that way, 200-0 or 20-0. The head-to-head will be tied. Then the goals difference too will also be tied because Zambia will have 0 goals difference between the 3 teams. Nigeria will have 0 because we lost 3-2 and we won 1-0. Why Zambia 2? Why Malawi 2 will also have 0 because they won 3-2 and they lost. So we now go for goals scored. Goal 4. Goal 4 for Malawi, 3 goals. They scored against Nigeria. And Nigeria scored 3 goals too. And Nigeria scored 3 goals. Then Zambia scored 1 goal. So that means that Zambia will crash out. They will not decide who will be first between Nigeria and Malawi. I think they now go to the head-to-head between Nigeria and Malawi. They pick Malawi to be the top in that group. So I think IoT is having issues with the camera. If the only outcome that can take Nigeria out is if Zambia beats Malawi by 4 goals to 3 or 5 goals to 4. Those are for scoreline 5-4-3. 5-4. And I was talking to my friend today here, Sport Grinder. So I said, if they play 4-3, now match fixing, nothing. Zambia might play that type of scoreline. But Rwanda can go and score 4 goals. I remember she did one in the Olympic Games against Germany. She went to go and score and he had 6-4. I think that game 6-4 also. So for me, I'll be going to their this Kosafa region, their group Facebook page and everything, Facebook group chat and everything. What they are saying is that how can we eliminate Nigeria? That's what. Okay, eliminate Nigeria. Let's play 4-3. So 2 of us qualify. Nigeria go out. So from 4-3 to 5-4, 4-3, 5-4 takes Nigeria out. If we go and beat Egypt with 3-0, 100-0, it will not work.
I asked you to do that for us because I knew that you'll be good at explaining it to people in a way that they will understand. Because if I try to say, people might not necessarily understand. And there's a lot of combination and combinations. But I think ultimately, the major thing is we need to go and do our job. Beat Egypt and let the other results play out the way it is going to play out. 4-3 is not impossible, but it is unlikely. 5-4 is not impossible, but it is unlikely. For the most part, if we win our game, we would get through to the next round, even in second position, and then we can go and do the job in the quarterfinals against whoever it is that we face. And I think that it is important that the Super Falcons don't overlook Egypt. Madugu should not go and rotate his squad thinking that Egypt are already out of the tournament, so they will not care. They will care. He should just go there, put his best team on the field. Of course, we're missing 2 players. The main is suspension. Is it 1 or 2 matches?
There is 2 matches.
2 matches.
So the main red card,
straight red card. So the man is missing 2 matches. The chicken is missing 1. That's the next game. She just put the best team on the field, have balance in the squad, respect the threats that Egypt might be able to pose, despite the fact that they've only scored 1 goal in the 2 games so far. We have only scored 3, and 1 was penalty, 1 was stoppage time. So we're not that much better than Egypt anyway, as far as the tournament is going so far. So go there, do a job, and I think if they win, which I believe that they will, everything should go well. Everything should go well for us. But yes, let's just wrap it up there. Let's get some people to share their thoughts with us. We have people that are waiting to speak. We're already past the 2-hour mark on this show. I want to thank everybody that has, stuck with us throughout. I keep going in and out because I'm having some technical issues behind the scenes, but I'm trying to make it work as best I can. But yes, let us take the first caller. I'll take Shenwu, then I'll take Yusuf, then I'll take Sports Grinder, and maybe after those 3 callers, we'll wrap up for today. Thank you to everyone. Once again, I just want to remind you guys, man, if you haven't hit the like button on the video, please do so now. We have a very healthy live audience, but the number of likes is not as healthy as the number of people that are tuned in. So please do us that favor. Hit the like button. It costs you nothing. I promise, if you like the video, they're not going to come more money from your account. If you want them to remove money from your account, leave a super chat, leave a super sticker. That's the way that you can support channel financially. But other than that, if you cannot or you don't want to give us your money, that's fine. It's your hard-earned money. Just hit the like button on the video. You did not earn the like. Just hit the like. We are earning the like from the show. So please do us that favor. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And if you are new here, if this is your first time encountering us, please subscribe to the channel. Previews, reviews, analysis, live streams, interviews, and so much more live on Eagles Tracker. Make sure you're following us on all social media as well, so that you are always in the know about what is happening in the space of Nigerian and African football. Big season coming up, 26-27. So you want to be a part of it. Okay, let's take the first caller for this evening's show. Sheon, welcome, sir.
Good evening, my brother. How are you doing today? Good morning.
Good
How are
evening,
you doing?
my brother.
How are you doing today? First of all, type of ball playing team are the worst this tournament. Are the worst thing. Ball playing are the worst. Forget that. We are not fit at all. Physically, they are not there. That cricket playing against Cameroon. If they are not there physically, they are not there. Not because of end of the season and some injury worries. And the manager himself is not a manager. I'm sorry. Go back to the farm. Come to farming. People don't know anything about football. How do we let people like Sebastian out of Ghana and bring in a man? Germans are not fit at all. So about that, I wish them best of luck against Egypt. I want them to win, but if they win, Gusto will stay. He will stay. So I don't want him to stay. So either they lose to quarterfinal and go playoff, maybe they'll start to them, or they qualify automatically in semi-final. If they play against Cameroon, they may lose. Cameroon is very strong. They're physically strong and they're very, very rugged. Don't get enough. But I watch the matches. They're very good. So for me, 50 for me. Let them beat Egypt first. And for Malawi and Zambia, they can do what they like. It's not their fault, but good for that give them a chance to be talking about Nigeria. That's about the girls. About flying boost. Bismillah, we are right. That team is rubbish. I watch the three matches. They can't pass together. They can't cross ball. I wonder what is this? What am I watching? I'm not watching rugby football. They can't cross ball. They can't pass. They can't move. I know, honestly, we should expect football. We should go. Turn and vote to Nigerian FC. I don't know why. Our team. Come to that state like Imo State. Go and get play there. Not saying Bao FC, saying Mamo FC, saying Malaga audio club side. They can't cross ball. I think that could beat us. They play command very well. This lad could go to play France. They play friend very well. You understand himself very well. That's lack cohesion. But the lack cohesion. So for me, Nigerians wanted to get refreshment, get new brain that can meet for all those good fans hope. They are not beating everybody, they should go. Lastly, what about the share contract situation?
Nothing. It's audio renewal.
Nothing. Okay. let me give you clue now.
All right.
No. I'm more because Senegal, they don't have a coach now. They don't have a coach. Coach was just they're about to have a winner. Cote d'Ivoire. Senegal don't have a coach. We don't have a coach. They just appoint a chef, and I've got to one.
I think Patrick Vieira is close to finalizing his deal with
Senegal.
Yeah. And but the main threat is Algeria. Algeria just lets because the man asked.
They have money.
Yeah, and they have money. They have paid. They paid the man. They paid 1 million euros to leave.
Yes.
So for
that money,
continue. Yeah.
I'm listening to you. No. That's my problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem. But without a shell, you are done for. They'll go for Guardiola, give us a again. That's my point to this. So see you on Friday at Gang Football.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us. As always, sharing your thoughts. Thank you very, very much. Okay, let's get the next caller in. Mr. Yusuf, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you for having me in IoT and Mr. Sweet Life. So, from my side, I think we should be looking towards having get the World Cup ticket. That should be the priority of the team. Because from what they've done so far in this tournament, they haven't been that impressive. And in fact, if from their performance from the last two matches is what we can read them with them, and they still went ahead to win it, then that would be a big extra for them. But I don't think they play the kind of football that can tip them to be among the best first 2-3 teams to win this AFCON. I think the priority now is to, at least if we're able to get the World Cup ticket, that should be, at least I'm satisfied with that. So that's what I'm looking towards that. And against Egypt, I watched Egypt's game briefly. What I noticed is that they play ball on ground. They don't play the way we play. So they swing passes more than we do. But the only advantage Nigeria may have over them is the kind of style of play we've adopted. Kind of 1-2 pass, then they send long ball up front for someone to run for it. So it's more like we may get better of them through our physicality. But talking about playing ball on the ground, no, they'll be better than us because we should be to beat them using that. But if we continue to use that, are we able to sail through Egypt and get to quarterfinal I'm afraid, I'm not sure, because teams have developed more than what we had last year. Yes, like Algeria, even the host country, they play like, when I watch some of the matches played by Morocco, just what comes to my mind is like an European team is playing like Spain, the flow, the kind of flow they, when they throw swing passes among themselves compared to what we have. Then you wonder, you want to be wondering if this is the WAFCON champion, because our game is not the kind of game that if we are not scoring goals, but when you play good game, everybody knows, because an average Nigerian knows if a team plays well, even though the goal is not coming. So I think we should be able to beat Egypt, but we should not be expecting like a wide margin. Like I think people saying they need to give Egypt like 4 or 5. So I'm not sure. I doubt we can get that kind of score. Probably we won by a long goal, or 2-1 or 2-0, but I don't think we can. I want to believe that should be enough to actually take us through to the next round. I think as for Flying Eagles, I think you guys mentioned it. I think I joined late, so I wouldn't know. The only match I watched briefly was their last match against Burkina Faso, where they lost 2-0. Because I was watching the replay of the last edition of Mr. Milai's program, because I missed out on. So I never knew it was coming online. So until when I saw the replay, so, and what I noticed was that for the one I watched, they actually play well. They had the possession passing, but they couldn't penetrate the Burkina Faso's side. And I was now wondering, how did they get those 2 goals? Because they scored the 2 goals in the first half, and I watched at least from parts of the first half, and Nigeria had the better possession. They are holding ball, but they couldn't know. They are praying for the last the final third, and throughout the second half, the same thing, they couldn't. So I hope they can also make it to the WAFCON with that. AFCON with that stage. So I think that is my submission. I wish our Falcon were, but my priority is for them to just get the World Cup ticket. But when you get the World Cup ticket, of course, I think you can always start and do some reshuffling, which players are fit, which are not going there. But for now, the priority should be the World Cup ticket, not AFCON, because we don't deserve to win the AFCON this time, based on our performance so far.
Sometimes it's not about who deserves what, it's about who is able to go there and take it. But I completely understand what
but football can be cruel, seriously. But if we have watched matches here, football can be cruel. If Nigeria goes ahead to actually win it, except probably from the next round, things change. You start playing normal Falcon games, then we can also change our mind towards them. But for now, we have been impressive so far.
All right. Thank you very much, Yusuf.
Let me answer his question.
Okay,
the goal that they scored, how did they score it? They scored it from Afid.
Wow.
For the Isuzo, we kept in goal. Just go and just say
now catching straight.
Now we score. Why the shot from? See, Burkina Faso came with a plan not to lose the game, but they want to also score. So they sat back, they ate us on the counter attack. We didn't have any plan.
So we are playing Cote d'Ivoire, right?
Yes.
I'm playing Cote d'Ivoire is that semi-final or quarter-final straight?
Semi.
So with that semi-final take us to AFCON?
Yes.
Having the spot in okay. That's good then. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Yusuf. Nice to
hear
you. All righty. Okay. And we have one more caller for this evening before we wrap up. Sports Grinder, thank you for your patience. Let us hear what you have to say.
It's in the car studio.
No, I just entered the car so that my daughter won't come and disturb me, man. She's been coming to disturb me. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, nice take, man. Good to see you, IFT. Nice time spending with your family and whatnot. Yeah, but Smith kind of got it right on the whole permutation about the WAFCON, but Nigeria it's like I don't think we can finish first again, regardless of what happens. Like there's no path to us finishing first again, even if we beat Egypt. So there's no scenario we can finish first. It's either Malawi or Zambia that can.
If Zambia beats Malawi 3-0,
then Zambia tops. Then we go in second. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. It's either Malawi or Zambia that can top at this point. and it's either both of them can qualify or one of them and Nigeria can qualify. But we can only go in a second at this point. But so with that being said, is Cameroon we're likely going to face. I think the girls may be confident. You know, when you beat some people in friendlies leading up to a competition, you're kind of like, you have that moral booster. But I don't know if it's the same team we used to beat them in the friendlies. I don't know if Plum.
Not exactly the same.
Okay, but in the back, I don't know if let's say we qualify. I don't know whether we'll miss the main too much, you know, because she's really good. Even though sometimes she's very aggressive, but she's good, and I hope we don't miss her against Egypt, because that Egypt, they know how to play the ball. I watched them. They know how to, like the last caller said, they know how to play. But I hope we just use long balls. And which you had said is a low block. I don't think they're going to play a low block because there's still a slight chance they can qualify. There's still a slim chance where Egypt qualifies. They beat Nigeria very, very well, you know, and Malawi beats Zambia. There's really that chance. So they may want to come out like Iraq did against Senegal, but got opened up in the Men's World Cup. So there's that chance. I'm hoping that they do that, and we can just be floating the ball to assist us to run, because they are slower. The Egyptian girls are slow when I watch them. They're a little heavy, stocky. They can't run well. So we should be able to use speed and overpower them. But in terms of the Flying Eagles, it looks like they changed their squad from the squad that beat Ghana and Togo. And I'm like, why did you do that when you're playing against a side that has 4 points? You're playing against a side that can overtake you. Like, I've never seen any. The only side I know that has knowingly done something like that is in recent times is Norway in the World Cup. Most people like that have the chance to top the group and play lesser opponents, they go for it. But now
I can answer.
Yeah, answer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because the packagers must play. The packagers must play. See, these people are very corrupt coaches. I'll tell you, allegedly. See, in the last under 20 WAFCON, Alice Beirut made substitutions 4 at once when it was like 3 minutes ago. Yes, Alice Beirut in the AFCON in Egypt. Those are like to play. Okay, your player don't play. Don't wear super. Don't wear Flying Eagle. So those people, we know them. Now it don't the odd for him now. So I don't know why. That's the reasoning. I had to put that post. Why will you do that?
Then why will he start them? That kind of thing, you wait till 85 minutes when you at least when you have a 0-0 or a 1-1 scoreline and you're like, no way they can change this team in these last 5 minutes. You put them at that 9 minutes. You don't start with them and then you start bringing your guys into to start pursuing the game. That's rubbish thinking. Yes, the agents are on your neck, but you still have to tell them, like, guy, there is a goal for us to qualify. If we go and play Cote d'Ivoire beat us and go, it's end of the road. It's end of the road right here. There's no AFCON again to continue. Like, me personally, there's no AFCON, there's no World Cup. Me personally, I won't succumb to that. I'll be like, hey, when the time presents itself, I'll play your players. Allow me be, you know? But it depends on what they have against you, how they can mess you up and all that. But it's very painful. I hope we go against Ivory Coast.
Sorry, I want to ask a question because so if Nigeria wins the game 10-0, for example, say, crazy margin, we win 10-0, and Zambia wins against Malawi 1-0, wouldn't we finish first?
No, we'll not finish first. Zambia will not even qualify. It's Malawi that will qualify, and then Nigeria second.
If Zambia wins 1-0, so Zambia will be on 6, Malawi will be on 6.
Yeah,
we will be on 6.
Yeah.
So head to head.
No, head to head is out of the way.
No, head to head. So it's head to head because everybody.
Yeah, it's balanced.
It's come down to what? To goal difference, no?
Yeah, goes
goal
difference first, then goes 4.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Goal difference. If we beat Egypt 10-0, then we would have.
No. They take Egypt goal difference out
Okay,
of
the
it.
Egypt result is out of it. So
Yeah,
out of it.
it will just be between the three
so
guys.
goal difference between the three teams. Okay.
Yeah. The only time goal difference will come is if Zambia beats 3-2, beats Nigeria, Malawi 3-2, Malawi will go in. Nigeria and Zambia are tied every other thing. Then the next tiebreaker will be okay. Now it's just Nigeria and Zambia. They will now look at the game between Nigeria and Zambia. So that's why Nigeria will still qualify over Zambia with a 3-2 because we beat them. So it becomes 4-3. That's when Zambia and Malawi start going through together. Yeah.
No, right.
And that Osimhen cannot go. She scored against.
May help us.
I think that goal might probably be the goal that will take us because we qualify.
Yes.
Because
But what if
difference? Yeah.
It will be hard. Wait, okay, but what if as you start the game, first thing you see, first 5 minutes, Malawi 1, Zambia 1. I'm like, okay. So now they just only need 5 goals between themselves. Like so early they scored 1-1. Like that, like I hope CAF will put their eye on that game and know that.
See, I don't trust these people.
Because there's a way, like you can know when the game is being sold when you see how people are playing, when people are just strolling.
Well, they will have taken Nigeria out of it. They will have taken Nigeria out of it. They will just discipline the two of them. They will discipline the two of them. If they suspect them, they will take us out already. So you go to the CAF disciplinary committee. They might, if they find them that okay, the match was somehow, they will discipline them. I don't think they will cancel the result of the game.
Yeah, they won't cancel it. They will just maybe ban them from maybe future or something. But
they might even find them. This current FIFA and CAF, I don't trust them. They can just find them. Say they should go and pay this thing. All those slap of the wrist there.
The chances of scoring 4-3. The chances of scoring 4-3 is like I'm looking at it like it can happen, but it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
I'm even not thinking for them taking 5-4. See, Chawanga can take the ball from the midfield and go and score. The same thing with Badra. So they are just it's gonna be end to end. That is my problem. It's gonna be end to end. That's my problem. And my also issue is this: if the first half of Nigeria against Egypt is 0-0, then everybody will start watching their band because we have to. Yes, because we have to beat Egypt.
Yeah, for all of this to even happen, we have to
beat Egypt.
We have to score, and we are not a good scoring side.
Yes,
like we don't create. Yeah, so I don't know how we do it. But maybe we just.
I do think that we have enough quality to beat Egypt. So let's do our job and we leave the rest in God's hands.
I'm happy that. Which one? Okay, let me ask you a question, guys. Which one will be better? Goal difference or head-to-head for Nigeria?
No. Goal difference or head-to-head? Like
if they don't use head overall goal difference.
If they use overall
yeah. The game would have been. No. Head in this scenario, head-to-head is better because Zambia already has 6.
Yes, because I don't think we're beating Egypt 6-0.
Yeah, we can't even beat Egypt 4-0. I don't see it.
Head-to-head is better for us.
Head-to-head is better. Now, if it was Super Eagles and AFCON, I can give those guys good defense. Those ones, they score it at will. But these girls, they don't know how to score.
But, I mean, lest we forget, the last WAFCON, the group stage wasn't so convincing either. And from the quarterfinal match, when they beat Zambia, they sparked to life. And it was tough till the end, but they showed us in that Zambia game that
when did they spark to life?
When they beat Zambia 5-0.
No, against Zambia,
did they spark to life against South Africa?
No, that's what I'm saying. They sparked to life, and then it was, like I said, it was tough till the end, but they showed us quality. After beating Zambia, we started to have more confidence that we could do it. South Africa, we got lucky with Alozier's goal. Everybody knew that was not supposed to be a goal; it was luck. But look, sometimes maybe they are fasting and praying on that 20. That's where fasting and praying comes.
Oh my god, Nigeria, man. Man, when I read that thing, I was like, this does not make sense. People are training.
It should be training. Now they're going to be having live training because of their fasting. It doesn't even make sense. Now it should be having intense training. It's now light training because they are fasting. Does it make sense?
Man, if you
I'm not against
you
fasting. I just think that you should walk and pray.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, anyways, thank you, Sports Guy, man. Nice to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Nice talking to you guys. All right, bye.
Thank you.
And yes, a massive thank you to everyone else that has been watching us, man. We're well, 2.5 hours into this program. Yeah. Those people that are listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it will be shorter than 2.5 hours because we would have cut some tidbits out of it and you'll be getting the condensed version, but it will still be fairly long for you guys as well. But thank you. If you're on Apple or Spotify, thank you for still watching. And everyone that's with us live, I really, really appreciate you guys, man. We've had a healthy viewership. When we started, a lot of people were not here, but as the conversation went on, more people joined in, more people contributed, more people engaged with us in the chat. So let me just see if there's any comments that I want to just highlight very quickly, even though I know I usually prioritize super chats. But let me just see what other people are saying before we wrap up. Olutosin says there's a possibility we tie on points, goals against, and goal difference with Malawi if Zambia beats Malawi 1-0. In this case, Malawi and Nigeria will have both 3 goals for and 3 goals against. Is that so? Okay, so Malawi scored 3 goals against Nigeria. So he's saying if Zambia beats them 1-0, they'll be on 3 goals. Nigeria would also have 3 goals for, 3 goals against. And then goal difference will be what?
0.
Nigeria will be 0 because we lost by 1. Malawi 2 would be
0.
Would be 0. So what would be the next tiebreaker between Malawi?
So they will go for goals 4.
So if we have goals 4, we're saying 3 goals for, 3 goals for.
So if all of us have 3 goals 4, but I think that goes for if Zambia should win 1-0, the goals 4 will take them out.
We'll take Zambia out.
Yes, because they only scored 1 goal.
They only scored 1 goal against
Malawi.
And then
the goal 4 will take them out. So it's not going to be
Malawi and Nigeria that will qualify.
Nigeria. So they will now take the head-to-head.
Which Malawi will top the group and Nigeria will come second. Right. Okay, yes. Let me see. There's another comment here that I want to take very quickly. Luwashon says, how do we assess what the true performance between Malawi and Zambia is? Will a 4-3 or 5-4 suggest that the line takes super because knowing that both teams actually can score goals? Look, we cannot know, man. Only them and God that we know, to be honest. We just have to watch the game. But I doubt, I want to believe that despite what might be your interest, I want to believe that there's still integrity in the game. They're still professionals. I don't think that at this level, people will come together to say, oh, let's match fix to allow the Super Falcons go out. I think they will play a fair game and whatever happens. That's what I think.
IoT.
Yeah.
The game could be 4-2 going to the last 10 minutes of the game. Zambia leading 4-2.
And then
going to the final 10 minutes and Malawi now pressing to get 1 goal to qualify. That one will be fair.
Yeah. It's possible.
It's not as if the one that will be suspicious is that score, I score. But if it's like 4-2,
then they press for, and they know they just need 1 more goal, and Zambia will know that they are comfortable because they're not winning game already, type of thing.
I have to make one confession here before we wrap it up. I will not be focusing on Nigeria against Egypt. I'm sorry. I'm going to be watching the Zambia game against Malawi. Because I'm sensing that if it's 4-2, everybody here will be on their knees. 4-2, going towards the last minutes, and you see Chuawenga diving towards the I'm just saying it is going to be very interesting. Very interesting.
Olutosin said, I think I already took a comment from Olutosin, so okay, I'll skip that for now. Let me see. John Jones says, I never thought I would be shaking and holding calculator with Super Falcons. Madibu must go. Okay. Victor Cobham, member of the channel, shout out to you. He says, I don't see Zambia even winning Malawi, much less scoring 4 goals, except the match is fixed. That Malawi team is more balanced and compact team than Zambia. So he's saying, let's even forget that. Malawi would not lose. And as long as Zambia don't win and we win, then we have nothing to worry about. Okay. It says Akreba says games as the one against Egypt are the most difficult. So that's what Akreba is saying. He's saying when you're playing against a team that has nothing to play for, sometimes it can be the most difficult one. And then one more comment that I'll take here from Unai Maker Nicholas. He says, Chai, this kind permutation is never good for us. So we just need to win Egypt by minimum 3-4-0 and let Zambia and Malawi play draw.
Mm-hmm.
But don't worry, guys. Nigeria will qualify. I'm not worried. We'll finish second. We'll qualify.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Man, it's been a pleasure. It's been a fun show. The WAFCON Nigeria's next game is in 2 days' time. We're playing against Egypt, so stay tuned for that one. Hopefully, we're through to the next round. We'll know who our opponents are. Probably, I think, is it the same day or the day after?
Day after.
The day after is when Ghana Cameroon's group will conclude, and then we'll be able to talk about the quarterfinal. We have a few rest days of no action in the WAFCON, and then the quarterfinal will be on the second in Group C will be on the 9th of August. So yes, our quarterfinal will be on the 9th of August. I say we've not gotten there yet, but if we get there, it will be on the 9th of August. It's been a pleasure, Ms. Milahi. Thank you once again. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button now before we go off air. If you haven't liked the video yet, maybe you forgot, maybe you are just holding out to see if you enjoyed the show, please hit the like button on the video now as we're about to go off air. And if you haven't been watching the WAFCON content so far, make sure that you check it out on the YouTube channel once we're done. Videos have been recorded. Another video should be dropping tomorrow for the Egypt game. So please stay tuned, enjoy. People have been loving the videos. Shout out to everybody that has been watching and engaging. I appreciate you guys. It's been a pleasure. This has been the Naija FC Podcast on Igbo Shaka of Nigerian football with me, Ayotsi, and my co-host.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.